What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of GG Gaming. I'm going to change up the intro because Alpha Stoutland is not here today. So today I am joined by PapaGenos and WreckitRyan. Guys, say hi.
Hey, everybody.
What's up? Hey, guys.
The one time that both of you guys were able to record, Alpha could not. So that's a shame. Next week we're going to try and aim for the countdown episode of our top whatever games, probably 10. I gotta double check to make sure that I even played 10 games from 2018. I mean, I play games, but they're not always what came out this year. So
yeah, same. 10's actually kind of a lot for new stuff.
I might have to reach into the archives a little bit for that one, but we'll make it work.
Yeah. So hopefully everybody is here for that. Hopefully everyone is here. So before we delve into games, what have you guys been up to this week? Or PapaGenos, what have you been up to since last time you were on?
Probably a lot since last time I've been on, but this week in particular, just playing Smash. A whole lot of playing Smash. It's finally out. I can finally play it. So yeah, I've been doing that a bunch. I went to my locals and played with a bunch of people. Had friends over and played. I played online with a friend of mine who lives a few hours away. So yeah, I've just been playing a bunch of Smash, trying out everything in it, and loving it. That's pretty much been my week.
How about you, Ryan?
Same deal. Yeah, I've been playing a ton of Smash. Also dabbling into the normal kind of things I do. Obviously, I'm still in dental school, so still doing that thing. Picked up a little bit of old school RuneScape on the phone and tablet, doing that on the side. But then, of course, Super Smash Brothers is dominating every free hour I have, so it's been great.
Lucky I haven't played it yet.
Oh man, well,
I just got it. I just got it in the mail today.
Oh wow.
And so I was planning on playing it later, and then I realized I had to study some stuff for the new job I got, so I'm hoping that I can find time to squeeze in Smash tonight sometime.
Nice.
I've also been playing Monster Hunter World because they added in the Winter Star Festival, and so I'm trying to get all the winter tickets to get the some of the event outfits, and in order to get them you need the tickets that you get from certain things, certain quests or certain bounties, and they only have that until the event is over on the 17th. So trying to do that. And also on Dragon Ball FighterZ, I was trying to do a seasonal event where they had the lobby avatars with Christmas or winter-esque clothing, and alternate Christmas colors for the characters. So I wound up getting all that. Then I jumped to Monster Hunter World, and I'm working on that. And I would love to work on a bit of that tonight and then play Smash, but I have no idea how much time I have. And I have no idea why. For some reason, the past few days, I've been losing my voice, and I don't think I'm sick at all. I have no cold or anything. I'm just losing my voice. And I was talking to somebody, and they said that usually when you move from one place to another and you start drinking the water there, in the beginning, you know, that it affects your throat. I was like, really? I didn't even notice if that was an issue. I don't know. Does that ever happen to you guys?
I've never moved that far to notice, to be honest.
I mean,
I've traveled, but I don't think I've noticed that happening.
I've come to Florida on vacations when I was younger, and if that ever happened, I didn't notice. But I really don't know.
I don't know if there's any scientific evidence to back that up that I'm aware of, but it could just be changing humidity with like the weather changes and stuff like that too. But I actually that event costume thing you're talking about, I would love for something like that to be in Smash Bros. I think that would be pretty cool.
Yes, but I don't like when events are a limited time, because then I'm like, I have to do this before
That's
this.
true.
Pokemon Go had me like, just every time there was an event, I had to do it, and it involved like going out into the world and eventually I just had to kind of give up on doing every single event. But for a while there, I was keeping up with it.
So Monster Hunter does have a crossover with Final Fantasy 14, and that one's not a timed event. They have a harder difficulty version of an already difficult match that is timed, that appears during events, but the actual DLC scenario is not timed, and I prefer something like that where you can tackle it on your own time.
There is something in Smash Ultimate in the vault that there's an icon, it's a little present icon, and it says get presents through special events.
Oh, right.
It's kind of like dulled out right now, so I don't know if that's eventually going to be the kind of event we're talking about, or something else. I'm not sure.
That's true.
I would love to get that with Echo Fighters and costumes and things like that, but I don't want them to be timed events or paid events. I want them to be like, for example, special anniversary. We've been doing this for a year. You know, so and so Echo Fighter is available to download. You know, that's the kind of present that I would want to see from that.
Or I'd at least want, like, if it is like it's a winter event throughout December or something, then I would hope that 6 months later or the next year it's just available. You know, like maybe you miss it and you get it a little later or something. But
right.
That's my problem with timed events is I hate feeling like you're gonna miss out on it if you don't do it right away. Because if too many games start doing that, then you have to play too many games at once. Like I had Dragon Ball FighterZ and I had Monster Hunter World at the same time. They have their limited time event. I was thinking to myself, well, which one do I need to tackle first? So thankfully I finished the one for Fighters, and then I started Monster Hunter World last night. And I know we're kind of just talking about what we've been up to, but we already pretty much started talking about games. And they announced yesterday on a stream for Monster Hunter World or Monster Hunter, I don't know if it was a Monster Hunter or Monster Hunter World stream, but they announced that they are going to be releasing a couple of things, but the big thing is a DLC expansion called Monster Hunter World Iceborne, and I am super excited for that. They seemed, sorry, I'm moving around because I'm sitting on the floor. I'm trying to get in a more comfortable position. They you'll probably hear that here and there. It seems like they are going to have new monsters, new outfits, a bunch of new things. And one of the things that they hinted at was a monster called, I believe I don't know how it's pronounced, maybe Nargacuga or something like that. I think it's some kind of snake monster. And they hinted at that in the teaser, being one of the new monsters. And I just want my baby's an ogre. That's one of my favorite monsters. I don't know how familiar you guys are with Monster Hunter, or how familiar any listeners are with Monster Hunter, but my favorite monster is an ogre. And the only other Monster Hunter game I played was 4 Ultimate, and Zinogre was not, or typically not found in snow regions, and this Iceborne pack or expansion seems to be snow-based, so part of me fears that we're not going to get Zinogre. So,
I've checked out Monster Hunter, but I am extremely casual. I probably own one of them, and I don't even know which one. I'll put it that way. I've played a few. I've had friends who are big on it, but I don't know it well enough to know monster names and such.
Yeah, I'm a little more than casual and a little less than competitive, I guess.
Professional?
Yeah, I'm somewhere in the middle because I know more than casual. I know some stuff, and people who are pretty good at it have taught me some things. But then again, I'm not at that level, and I still have a lot of questions. I go, how do I do this? How do I do that? Or like, oh man, I keep dying against this. So I'm somewhere in between. I don't know how to describe that, but actually, just last night I had somebody. The super hard event I was telling you about was called was a visitor from Eorzea, which is the land in Final Fantasy XIV, I'm assuming. Mm-hmm. And the monster is Behemoth. So it's basically a Behemoth EX, which is a monster that you that you really need like 4 people to play against, and it's an even harder version. So the Monster Hunter World community on PlayStation or PSN or whatever, they once in a while, I suppose, have carries where like 3 people will pretty much carry 1 person. So I pretty much had people carry me. But I was like, I was helping a little bit because I was healing everyone. I was playing the part of a healer, but I didn't want to even deal with it anymore. So I was like, please just, can you guys carry me? They were like, yeah. I was like, yes.
I just remembered, I used to play a ton. You're saying Final Fantasy XIV, right? The online one?
I think it's 14.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Okay. I'm just remembering now that that I played a ton of that game back in the day. I played. Good? Yeah, it's actually very good.
If you played a ton, I'm assuming it's good.
Yeah. Yeah, actually, I hated every second of it, but no, it was really fun.
I couldn't stop.
And currently, you can play up to, I want to say, level 40 or 60 completely free. You don't need any, it's not even like a free trial. You can play unlimited up to a certain level. So I was very impressed by that. And yeah, it's super fun. I played a Black Mage, if I remember right.
They're actually doing a trial version now where you can play, I don't know exactly how much of it, but you can play Monster Hunter World for free right now on PSN. The first few the first like low rank quests, which I guess the best way to explain it to people who aren't too familiar is they have different tiers of difficulty for the quests, so you can play for free up to the third tier difficulty, and you can play, I believe you could join anybody's quests. I don't know if that includes above 3rd tier, and I don't know exactly what else you're limited to, but if you play it and you wind up liking it and you want to get the game, you can transfer your save data over. So I thought that would be cool for anybody who has some time, meaning that they're not playing Smash, and wants to check that out. I think that was bad timing on their part because Smash just came out and now they're doing this limited time trial. I'm like, why not just offer it indefinitely? And not just for like a week or 2. I don't know how long it is for, but you would think you would want people to try it out indefinitely and think, oh man, I got to play more of this. I don't know why they would do that.
Yeah, there's unfortunately a lot of unfortunate release dates, I feel like, because didn't the Katamari Damacy just come out like the same day as Smash or something like that?
I think so.
I didn't even hear about it, but it might have.
Exactly.
I just feel bad for those guys. Just like their sales.
Katamari is in Pac-Man's Taunt now. I think that pops out. I'm pretty sure I've seen that.
Oh, really?
Oh, wow. I did not unlock Pac-Man yet. So
okay.
That's awesome.
Is can you use icons for your online profile from like any of the spirits?
There's a ton of them. I don't know if it's all the spirits, though. There's, like, a huge list of them. And I don't know if you unlock more, but I just used what was already there.
Because somebody said on Twitter, one of the supporters for Shantae and Smash said, everybody put Shantae as your icon. And I was like, huh, well, I didn't even know you could do that, but I'm probably going to do that just because I'd like to have Shantae as my icon. Not necessarily to support it, but just because that would be one of the icons that I would want to have. But I'm definitely interested to see what all the icons are and if you can unlock more.
I have Gino as mine. That was there from the get-go, so there definitely are. I don't know if I saw Shantae, but like I said, there was a ton. Mm-hmm. She was probably there. I don't know the full list, and again, I don't know if you can unlock more, but there's definitely a lot of people are saying Shantae's on there. I'd have to say she probably is.
Well, I know that she is there. I don't know from the start or not, but I know she's there because I've seen the person's. Well, the person did say to do that, and he also showed a screenshot. So I was like, oh, that's cool.
Nice. So
before we jump into talking about updates and whatnot, we've already kind of started talking about what we've been playing. Have you guys played anything else aside from Smash before Smash came out?
I played, hate to say it, Fallout 76.
I don't know anything about that. How is that?
Not that great.
Really?
uh,
God.
Yeah.
I was a big defender of Fallout 4. A lot of people gave Fallout 4 a lot of hate for whatever reason. But I really liked Fallout 4 and Fallout 76. I wanted it to be my game to kill time before Smash, and I got to level 50, so like I put a lot of time into the game. But it's just it has so many bugs, and it's clearly just like Fallout 4's engine, but put online, and there are certain things about that just don't work. Not being able to pause the game because you're online, but having the menu for like your weapons and healing items and stuff be as convoluted as the games where you could pause it. It just doesn't work. There's so many things that needed to be, redone from the ground up and that weren't. So I tried to enjoy it. There's definitely aspects of it I liked. I like the big map. I like exploring around. That's what I like about Fallout. But man, that game needs some serious fixes, unfortunately.
Do you think that are they planning on fixing it?
See, I don't know because it got so much of a backlash. I don't know if Bethesda's going to go, all right, we really need to fix this, or if they're going to go, okay, this is a lost cause. So
well, it really depends on how much money was spent on it.
Yeah,
and how much money would they lose if they didn't?
Yeah, definitely. I know Bethesda's pretty notorious for like not fixing things. Like Fallout 4 had some bugs that they never fixed. Some bugs carried over into 76 that they know about and still didn't fix, which is pretty ridiculous. Bethesda usually relies on the modding community to like fix their games. And unfortunately 76 has more bugs than probably any other Fallout I've played. Absolute.
A friend of
like it's weird. Sometimes I'll play it and I'll get like an hour or two where like nothing really has happened buggy wise and it's working and stuff like that, and then other times I'll just get stuck in something or the server just keeps crashing or something. And it's just unplayable. And yeah, it's unfortunate, especially for a game that's online and really wants you got to put a lot of time into a Fallout game. And
a friend of mine was playing it on the PS3, and I don't know which game it was, which Fallout it was, but every so often he would say that it would just freeze up. He had to restart. I remember I was talking to him on the phone, and he must have restarted his system so many times. And he said it was more prominent in the DLC pack, that it just kept freezing your system. I was like, that's retarded. Pardon my, I don't know how PC people are who listen, but that's retarded.
I've definitely had, past Fallout games that had issues like that, but there was almost always like a workaround, or when you're not online, it doesn't feel so, I don't know, I felt like I could, like, if there's some part that's like, okay, if I do it this way, it kind of freezes on me, or if I do it this way, that dialogue option kind of screws things up or something. But in 76, it's like, I have to go onto a different server. Sometimes something different's happening. So much of it is like, it's not just like, oh man, I got to get to that monster so I can get that, the loot I want off of him. It's like, I might only had a small fraction of a time to get that because I was online, it was in the moment, and, it's screwing up on me and I can't get it for whatever reason. Instead of just, signing back into the game and fixing it offline in a one-player game, which, you can kind of cheese things and make happen. In an online game, there's not as many opportunities to do that sort of thing because they kind of want to lock you out of being able to get ahead of every other player that's also online and stuff. So
wow.
I don't know, I've had some serious problems with it. I'd like to go back to it, but Smash has me occupied for now, so I'll probably just play Smash, and if I find out in a few months they've really updated it, or I hear that it's kind of fixed now, maybe I'll jump back in, but we'll see what they do with it.
Now, are both of you guys fans of Kingdom Hearts?
Yes.
How about you, Ryan?
Yes.
Oh, no, go ahead. You were going to say something.
No, I was just I was gonna just ask with the Fallout 76. Did that come out like last month? Yeah,
it was like I think the beta came out in like October, but the beta only came out a few weeks before the game, and then when the game launched, it was essentially the same as the beta, which had a lot of bugs. Yeah, I think it was I want to say like November 16th or something. It came out.
Okay. Yeah, I was just gonna say I think it's yeah, it's probably pretty hopeless, like you said, Bethesda's history, like they're not inclined to fix things, but maybe because it's online and they have to maintain the servers anyway, they might be more inclined to fix at least some of those bugs. But yeah, I've never seen a game get below 50% liked as in the Google search. So that's pretty abysmal.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people were just really mad about it. It's way more of an experiment. Just, what Bethesda's online is going to be like than it is a game.
Right.
And that's unfortunate for someone like me who, like I said, I apologize for Fallout 4. Like, I don't know if apologize is the right word, but people were like, oh, it has this problem, that problem. And I'm like, no, I enjoy, it for what it is, or, what's underneath there is still good. And 76, it feels like kind of the same thing. Like, I think there's still something good there, but it's really hard for me to, like, defend it because it just seems like very low effort to attempt an online game.
Yeah, and it's a shame too because Bethesda did Elder Scrolls Online, which I've heard was always pretty good, and it's gotten better apparently. So I don't know what happened here, but
I'm unsure exactly. I think the problem is I think they're trying to see if they can basically do like Skyrim or Fallout or whatever online. Can they do that game online? But instead of starting from the ground up, they just took. Because basically Fallout 4 was just Skyrim in Fallout. Like, they just took that engine, stuck it online, and there's just tons of issues with doing that.
Right.
It just don't really work, so.
Okay. You guys just kind of went silent there.
We're mourning the loss of Fallout. No.
Yeah.
I was gonna.
I'm sorry.
I was gonna talk about Kingdom Hearts for a bit, but I didn't realize that you had more to say about Fallout, so I apologize for cutting you off if that's what I did.
Oh no, go for Kingdom Hearts because I'm excited. That's probably the next game I'm really excited for.
Okay,
Except for maybe No More Heroes. I think that comes out first, but Kingdom Hearts is probably the big one.
Okay, well I was gonna say that I saw that. I think in Japan, I don't know if they got as far yet in the English version, but in Japan it seems like they had some story updates for Kingdom Hearts Union Cross, and it looks like we finally see the somebody of Larxene, and it seems like the character's name is Arlena or Alrena, something like that. I think it's Alrena, but she has a completely different personality than her obnoxiously rude nobody counterpart of Larxene. She seems like such a sweetheart, and the character that, because I didn't look too much into it because I also didn't really want to spoil it for myself. So I suppose there's no spoilers here really, but all I know is that she appears, and the character Loriam, who is obviously the somebody of Marluxia, is the one who approaches her. And I guess that's the start of the relationship between Marluxia and Larxene. And I mean relationship in the sense like just knowing somebody, not necessarily dating. But it seems like that's the start of their being buddy-buddy. And for people who follow Kingdom Hearts, they were two main characters in Chain of Memories. And there were two characters we never really delved into their past. So I'm really curious to see how they play out, because this is taking place during or shortly after the events of the Keyblade War. So this is already, I don't know how many years ago. Honestly, I now that I think about it, I really don't know if it was hundreds of years, but I don't know if there's time travel that goes on, or if when you become a nobody, you don't age. I don't know what the rules are with that, because this is also new, with them introducing events from the Keyblade War. So things seem to be picking up story-wise, and I'm really curious to see how it's going to lead into, if not Kingdom Hearts 3, then the future of Kingdom Hearts. I'm also really curious to see what they're going to do if they ever one day shut down the cell phone game. How will people access all that important story information?
I have a friend who plays. I haven't played the cell phone game, but I have a friend who plays the cell phone game. So, yeah, I don't follow everything. Like I played, like some of the. I haven't played all the Chain of Memories, Dreamed Out Distance, all the like side ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been trying to go into really blind with Kingdom Hearts 3.
And that's not good. if you haven't played the other games.
There's like a lot.
Yeah.
I know there's a lot. People have told me there's a lot of story. But yeah, I have a friend who plays a cell phone game, so I don't know if there's a bunch of story buried within the cell phone game.
Yeah, there is.
I don't know how people are going to get that in the future.
I'm in the same
Okay,
boat.
well, here's what you do. I found an amazing video on YouTube, and if I could find it, I'll link it in the description. It pretty much covers all the important plot points from the cell phone game up to the present. So, and it's maybe like 45 minutes to an hour long. So if you have some time and you want to know what you're missing, it's the perfect way. I actually rewatched it recently, and it gave me a recap because I forgot some of the stuff because it just kind of dragged out. And I also learned something new that based on something that there was something recently that confused me because what it seems like is the original game was a web, what was it? A desktop game or a web game in Japan. It was a Japan exclusive, and that was just Kingdom Hearts Key. And that went all the way up to, I believe, the actual Keyblade War. And so they put it on the cell phones. A little bit was changed up, but some of those final cutscenes were put online, and I believe this video that I'm referring to covers those events as well. So this video really covered everything. And the remake on the cell phone covered up to the same events, and now we have Union Cross, which is the same game, but they're also adding more content. So Union Cross covers the events of Kingdom Hearts Key, as well as the aftermath of the Keyblade War. And so basically what happened, and they're really incorporating the datascape, it seems. But if for any of you guys who are familiar with Coded, I don't know, did you play Recoded on the DS or 3DS? Or have you seen the story cutscenes?
I have to look at which ones I've played, but I think I have.
Okay.
I don't know if I have.
Because, well, you guys are familiar with how Jiminy's Journal was data whatevered, and then they went
Which one had the cards?
Chain of Memories.
Okay, I played that one, and then I think one other. I didn't play whatever one was on PSP.
Birth by Sleep.
Yeah, so I don't think I played that one.
That's also very important to the story.
so I've heard. I need to. I'm definitely going to recap all the story. Definitely send me a link to that YouTube thing.
Yeah,
that would be helpful.
I'm going to recap even Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2. I need to recap the whole story before I watch.
I will. Okay, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to link when this episode of the podcast is up. I will link it to you guys, and in the description, I will provide what I'm referring to. I'll have to try to find it. The video I'm referring to, though, I believe it only covered the events of the cell phone game, but I thought I saw recently a really good recap of everything, and I have to try to dig that. Sorry, I'm moving around again. I have to try to find that. If not, for anyone who has time, which I know is not really, I really suggest the 1.5 plus 2.5 collection, because that plus the 2.8 collection is everything you need in terms of not the cell phone game.
Nice.
Actually, okay. I don't want to keep saying the same stuff over and over again, but basically, the cell phone game is important. There's a lot of filler in it, and that filler is what's not important, because what I was talking about, the data, was basically they datatize, or I don't know what the word is I'm looking for, because I forget the word that they use, but they turn the worlds into data. So after the Keyblade War, the levels that you're playing in, it's basically data versions of everything you've been playing up to that point. And the new foretellers are trying to keep everybody in secret, and because they don't want people to know that the Keyblade War happened. So your character keeps having dreams or nightmares or whatever about the Keyblade War, because he remembers it happening. But what's going on in the datascape is that it's continuing from a point where, like, oh, the war never happened. So everybody's kept pretty much out of the loop on that, except for the higher ups. So, and before that, the reason you're traveling to Disney worlds that are the reason you're still meeting Aladdin and everyone, whereas you're in the Keyblade War, so it's hundreds of years ago, is because the Book of Prophecies is taking, like, they're creating world. I don't know if it's the book itself or if the Master of Masters used the book to do this, but the worlds you visit are illusions made up of future from the Book of Prophecies. And then after the Keyblade War, you're going to the data version of that. So it's, like, complicated, but it's also kind of simple. So yeah, what was really confusing me, and I don't know if anybody here who listens to this was playing the cell phone game and was confused. Everything seems all hunky-dory in terms of it's kind of self-contained. And then what happens after the Keyblade War is Maleficent gets involved, and she refers to Sora. And you're like, well, wait a second. This is hundreds of years ago. And aren't you an illusion? So what happens is, I think after, which one was it? Coded? If any of you guys, you said you played it or watched the movie scene, where Maleficent and Pete kind of disappear at the end of Coded. They want to, like, go into the datascape. So at some point between that and the story going on in Kingdom Hearts Key, Maleficent somehow entered the datascape and, I guess, traveled to the past. So she's in the datascape of the illusion world, and so she's trying to change the future, and then she realizes she can't because the future is already written, because this is all a data version of illusions of the future. So and then she winds up getting trapped in there. And so there's some kind of mysterious figure, but we don't know who it is, but someone in the shadows, I think, offered her help. Mm-hmm. And the only other thing I want to talk about before I shut up about Kingdom Hearts is that one of the new foretellers, there's 5 of them, and this is where it's, like, kind of really interesting, because one of them is the character Ephemer, who is you befriend him in the game and he becomes one of the new foretellers, and so is Skuld, who is a girl who you also meet, and I think she was friends with Ephemer also. And then there's this character who don't know anything about. His name is Brain for some reason. in Japanese it's Blaine. I don't know why they decided to keep it as Brain. And then you have Ventus for some reason, and Loriam. So the thing is, one of these people is most likely a traitor, and we don't know who yet. And the reason one of them might be a traitor is, or at least they might not know what's really going on, is somebody else, some girl named Strelitzia, was supposed to be one of the 5, and she was actually quote unquote murdered. And I say quote unquote because it happened, like, she was just, like, attacked, and then she kind of, like, turned into a heart, and so it's like, oh, obviously she died. They just didn't want to straight out say it. So somebody from the shadows murdered her, and since she was supposed to be the 5th member, one of these 5 characters does not belong. So, and the thing I'm also thinking about is maybe they don't know that they weren't supposed to be one of the new foretellers. Maybe whoever the murderer was, or whoever's in cahoots with the murderer, invited them and said, here, you're invited to be one of the foretellers. So maybe the one who wasn't supposed to be a foreteller doesn't know. But one of, I think, here's the thing, Skuld and Ephemer, I can't see them being, like, villainous, or at least not intentionally, because they were your friends throughout the journey, which leaves the other 3, which is Brain, who we really don't know anything about. We have Loriam, who is the somebody of Marluxia, so that's kind of skeptical. And we have Ventus, who, if you know Birth by Sleep, which I guess PapaGenos you don't, but basically Master Xehanort winds up experimenting on him and extracting the darkness from his heart, and creating the character Vanitas. So I'm wondering if somehow Master Xehanort plays into all this and is the one who murdered Strelitzia and maybe gave the invitation to Ventus, so like he doesn't know what's really going on. So I think there's a few possibilities there. So I'm really excited to see what important story scenarios come of all this. And I feel like this is really going to play into whether it's Kingdom Hearts 3 or the future of the series after that. But I'm really excited to see where this is going, because they're clearly building up something big, and they're just doing it a little bit at a time through the cell phone game, which is why I recommend every once in a while just checking up to see what's new story-wise with the cell phone game. What did I miss out on? But I'm going to shut up about Kingdom Hearts, because I just kept going on and on and on.
No, that's cool, man. I just need to catch up on all that stuff. Yeah. Like, it's been a while since I played any Kingdom Hearts games.
I also figured you guys would be okay about me going on and on, because it's new information to you, and you both like Kingdom Hearts. So if you didn't care about Kingdom Hearts, I would have probably shut up sooner. But I knew that since you both like Kingdom Hearts, that's why I asked you guys like Kingdom Hearts, because I wanted to not only inform the viewer, but you guys as well. Like, this is some new story stuff that's been going on. So again, I'm going to try to uncover that. I think I favorited the video or liked the video. So I'm going to try to find it and link it in the description about the cell phone game, the story so far, and I'm gonna see if there's a good recap on everything throughout the whole series so far. So
I'm pretty sure there's a good recap from the series. At least there was one, probably, minus the cell phone game stuff, because it was like a year or so ago. I remember finding one on YouTube and like beginning to watch it and being like, oh man, before Kingdom Hearts 3 comes out, I'm definitely gonna rewatch this video. It's like, it refreshed my memory so well, like. So I'm sure and it's probably not just one video that I found. I'm sure there's quite a few out there. So but I remember I found one.
So you want to find a video that was released sometime after 2.8 collection was released, because that includes important story information as well.
Gotcha.
And that was the last big thing that came out, aside from story updates in the cell phone game, which you can find in the other video. So if you watch the cell phone video, the video that goes over the events of the cell phone game, and then watch a recap of the entire series so far, assuming that it doesn't cover the events of the cell phone game, then you should be pretty much set for 3. Really, all you need to know when you go in 3 is what's going on. And there's a lot to know what's going on. And a lot of people talk about how complicated the story is. And honestly, if you really sit down and have either played all the games or know the story of each game and how they lead into each other, then it's not too complicated. A lot of the answers for questions you might have are in some of the reading materials in the game. So a lot of people will answer those online. You'd be like, oh, well, why can Sora dual wield Keyblades? And it's like, well, that question's been answered by the creator. I always forget the answer to it, so I'm always like, oh yeah, what was it again? And then I'll look it up and I'm like, oh, right. I think it has something to do with when he shared his heart with Ventus. He basically winded up accessing his own Keyblade and Ventus's Keyblade. I think that was the reason. And so Roxas was able to dual wield because he's the nobody of Sora, who's using his own and Ventus's Keyblades, which is also why Roxas looks like Ventus.
Right.
But I mean, like, these are different events, but then when you look at it in chronological order, or like read or watch something that explains it better than I did, then it makes sense. It's kind of like step 1, Ventus's heart was shattered or fractured and needed to find a new heart. Step 2, he reached out to Sora when Sora was a child, and so Sora's heart kind of took his heart in. And then step 3, when Sora learned how to use the Keyblade, he had access to his and Ventus's Keyblades, but he didn't actually do that before being, he didn't actually do that really dual wield. I don't know if later on he dual wield, but then step 4 is when he splits into a heartless and a nobody. His nobody takes on the appearance of Ventus because Sora was sharing his heart with Ventus. And so that's why Roxas and Ventus look like the same character. And that's why Roxas is able to dual wield Keyblades. So, I mean, it's like when you break it down and you follow it in chronological order, it's like, oh, I get it. That makes sense. But the problem is you have to do that in order to understand it. And that's why it's
right.
You can't, if you go into it casually thinking like, oh, what's going on? Then you can be like, whoa, I'm overwhelmed. But if you're like, okay, I really want to know what's going on, then you'll figure it out and realize it's pretty simple. It's only really complicated when you look at it from the perspective of, I only got like a minute to read this. It's like, be prepared to like do a little bit of research.
It's a novel.
Pretty much.
Feel like, it's always come off complicated just because there's so many different games to learn like little bits and pieces. And sometimes like there have been times where this game's out and that game's out and we don't have the linking reason yet. Mm-hmm. And then we get it in the next game, and some people didn't play that game or missed it, so it just comes off very complicated.
Actually, Ryan,
people learn the information.
Ryan, you pretty much nailed it when you said it's like a novel, because I think of, now I try to compare it to something like Game of Thrones, where if somebody asks you, oh, what's Game of Thrones about? You're like, there's like 7 seasons now. It's like,
you're going to have to sit down for this one.
It's the same thing if you were to explain like a movie, like if somebody asked me, what's the Marvel Cinematic Universe about? I'm like, prepare to sit down for a while, because there's a lot of movies there. It's not that it's overly complicated. It's just that there's a lot of material.
Right.
Yeah, sometimes you forget what piece of information came out when and why it's important that it came out then.
Like something that might have been not necessarily slipped under the radar, but something that might have been said like and not focused on in one game might become a bigger deal later on. Or not necessarily a bigger deal, but I mean, like, it might explain something later on and you're like, oh, so that's why that happened. So it's kind of just like a really big series. Because we're talking about multiple games, and these games themselves are RPGs that have a lot of story packed into them. So you're really looking at like a giant novel series, you know? It's like somebody who's new to Game of Thrones is like, oh, can you tell me about George R.R. Martin's Song of Fire and Ice? And you're just like, whoa, dude, I can't even tell you the entirety of Game of Thrones in like 10 minutes. Like, you got to sit down and really be ready to learn it, which is a turnoff for some, and for others who have the time and interest is really exciting. So, but I'm going to shut up.
It's a daunting task to get into anything with that much lore.
Yeah.
But a lot of times it's worth it. So.
Yeah, I mean, luckily I got into it as it was coming out. So as new things were appearing, I was slowly, but like steadily, or whatever the word is I'm looking for, like slowly adding new knowledge to my repertoire of knowledge. I'm like, okay, so that's why that works. Oh, okay, so that's why that happened. Oh, okay, that makes sense. And it's like if you want to jump into the series after all that stuff was announced, like, well, there's a lot of stuff to so what? 1 second. Okay. So I think I've talked about Kingdom Hearts enough. Ryan, you just reminded me something that I was going to say earlier on, that you told me that you had to go. And I was going to say to you, when you have to go, you can just go. You don't have to wait for us or feel like you're pressured to stay. And then you reminded me that you have to go soon. So, let's talk about Smash for a little bit, because that's something that we all want to discuss. And I apologize if I talked all your ears off with Kingdom Hearts. I just lost track of time and was a little excited about it. But
no, it's cool, man. I love Kingdom Hearts. Like I said, I'm really excited for 3. I just need to catch up.
Definitely.
Yeah, so if any of the listeners don't want to listen about Kingdom Hearts, you can skip a good chunk of the episode.
We'll put timestamps in the description.
I don't actually know how to do that.
Oh, I'll put a comment. Don't worry, I'll take care of it. Okay,
yeah, you can. What you can do is put a comment that says "skip to this time" to skip Kingdom Hearts. Which
I'll just timestamp the topics.
Okay, if you want
to. YouTube they got rid of timestamps. I think you have to do it through the comments now or something.
Oh, really?
Is that right? Okay.
Well, anyway, we'll figure something out. or I should say Ryan will figure something out.
I'll try.
But before you go, I know you want to talk Smash, and I want to talk Smash. I'm sure PapaGenos wants to talk Smash, so let's talk Smash! Smash talk!
So you just got yours in the mail today, did you say?
Yeah, I didn't even open it yet.
Oh, crazy.
So
I got the Amiibos in the mail yesterday.
Ooh.
The Wolf, Ridley, and Inkling. I want to do
Nice.
something with. I have a big Amiibo collection, so I'll probably do some video with those eventually here. But I got the game the day it came out, and I've been playing it pretty much nonstop.
Wow. That's what I'm going to do when I finally get to play it.
That Ripley Amiibo looks so good.
Yeah, it does.
I bet it looks even better in person.
See, I pre-ordered the Ridley Amiibo as well as the game, and what wound up happening was I gave my dad, I transferred the money to my dad and asked if he could pick it up for me and then ship it down to me. So he shipped the game down, and I was like, oh, you don't have to ship the Amiibo down. You could just keep it at the house. When I get there, I'll see it. So I'm excited to just see it when I get home. I mean,
Cool.
you know, so it's like I know what it looks like, but I haven't seen it in person yet. And I'm also really hoping that there's no defects on it that are like bad defects. You know, like hopefully there's no bad paint jobs or anything.
I think this way, from what I've seen anyway, looks pretty quality.
Okay.
Like, I remember when Amiibos first came out, there was like some issues with the first batch of them, but these look pretty quality. And I've seen others in stores and stuff. So
I was gonna say, if he comes with a defect like a second tail or something attached, then that'd be pretty cool. Because I'd be like, because then I would hold on to it and be like, yo, I got a Ridley with 2 tails. How much is this worth?
Oh, that would be worth thousands of dollars.
Yeah, I would definitely not open it.
Yeah.
See, I actually open my Amiibos because I like to display them, and the boxes take up too much room. But I also wish that I didn't open them because I also don't want to ruin the collector's value. PapaGenos, you said that you have like 2 of each. You keep one in the box and you display one. I kind of wish I did that, but I didn't have the money. I already spent a lot.
I remember when Smash 4 came out, I went to the store to buy it at like midnight. So actually what happened was I was working at a retro game store when it came out. Mm-hmm. We did our like sales or whatever, and my plan was to buy any extra copies that we had, and we didn't have any extra copies. So it was like 12:15 or something, and we had sold it to everybody, and then I ran to my car, ran to our local GameStop. And there was luckily still a line of people buying it. They hadn't shut down yet.
Nice.
And I went in and bought my copy of the game because I had basically sacrificed it to the customers because, you know, whatever, they wanted to sell to them first. Got it at that GameStop, and then they had, I think, like all the Amiibos except for like Wii Fit and maybe Marth. And I was just like, you know what? I'm going to get these eventually. Whatever. I'm just going to buy them now. You know, even if my bank account goes down really low, I'm just going to get them now because I'm just going to get them throughout the week if I don't. So I bought like one of each of them. And then the next morning I went to, I think, like Walmart, and they had Wii Fit and Marth, so I bought the ones I was missing. And then I went home with every intention of like opening them. And I had them all like on a desk, like in box, and they just looked so cool. I was like, nah, I'm not going to do that. And then like, I don't know if it was like a couple weeks later, it became this whole thing to like collect Amiibos and don't open them and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, all right, I guess I'm in. I've been watching ever since.
So,
nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully the prices aren't still as hiked up as they were.
I've seen some of them are getting re-releases, which is nice. Like I saw Rosalina at Target the other day. Mm-hmm. But I know like female Corrin is still like ridiculously expensive online for whatever reason. I think it was an Amazon exclusive, and those are always rough.
Yeah, I have all the Smash Amiibo aside from the new ones that just came out.
Okay.
So something I want to talk about Smash-wise was your thoughts on Joker.
Oh, okay. I was shocked. I'll put it that way.
Me too. I was also a little disappointed. Not because, like, for different reasons. Like, Joker being in Smash is obviously a good thing in sense where it means anybody can, it doesn't have to be limited to Nintendo. And Nintendo actually confirmed that they're not necessarily limited to Nintendo. So it really opens the doors, and it makes things like like Geno, Banjo Kazooie, and Shantae sound all the more reasonable, or like not expected, but just like, okay, that could happen now.
I think everything's on the table right now.
Yeah.
Is the thing. Any rules or anything are just kind of like, we don't know who we're gonna get here.
So definitely, Joker being in Smash was exciting to me for that reason. The disappointment came in the fact that I felt like there were more deserving third-party characters, and they could still very well appear. And maybe this was just the beginning, but I also know nothing about Persona, so I have no attachment to the character. And I know Persona 5 and the series is very big, so for all those people who know who Joker is and are probably excited about it, like, I'm happy for them. Like, that's awesome that they got this character in that they probably never would expected, but probably dreamed of. But for me, I'm just like, okay, I don't know who he is. I'm excited to see what he brings, because I do know of the personas that characters have, so I want to know how they incorporate that into it. But other than that, I have no idea who Joker is.
Gotcha.
Do you guys like Persona?
I'm a fan of Persona, but I have not. I'll put it this way: I haven't played Persona 5, which is what Joker's in. So, so I'm not like personally super hyped about Joker. I am hyped about Persona getting in Smash, though, because I do like the Persona series, and I do have friends who are way more into it than I am. And it was one of those things where I was more excited for other people kind of getting this character than myself personally, and what it could mean for the future of DLC. Then I was like personally like, oh man, Joker, I can't wait to play Joker. I'm totally happy with having Persona in Smash, though. I love the music from Persona. I think it's a great series. I think it's a deserving series. So I was happy to get Joker in Smash. But it's not a character I'll probably main or something like that. So that was kind of my thoughts on it. You know, hyped to get Persona in Smash, not necessarily hyped to get Joker in Smash, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
I totally agree. Yeah, I've only played Persona Q2 a little bit on the, I think that's the 3DS one. So yeah, I have no, well, I don't have as much an attachment to the Persona series, but yeah, from what I've seen and what I've heard, it's just super, super cool, super deserving. And I think I'm going to update my personal predictions to be all third-party characters for our 5 DLC.
Do you think they're all going to be third party?
I think so.
That's kind of where I'm leaning as well now, actually. I think it's still possible we might get some of those missing Spirit characters. Again, I don't know if Spirit's deconfirmed characters. It's totally possible we get like Geno or Shantae still totally on the table. But I am leaning more towards that the likeliness is that we're going to get new series, new characters, third party. That's just what it feels like at this point.
I'm pretty much expecting Banjo and Kazooie at this point.
Same.
Yep, me too.
Same. I actually thought the
especially
game
if you,
we were going to get Banjo.
Yeah, because Reggie and Phil Spencer were there. I was like, oh, they're together. They're going to announce a collaborative thing.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But I could totally still see that happening at E3.
Yeah,
actually, the prediction right now for DLC like reveals is that we're going to get Piranha Plant, in February or whatever, and then somewhere around then we'll probably get gameplay of Joker, because we haven't even seen gameplay. And then like a release date, and then maybe a month or two later, Joker gets released, and we can download him or whatever, and then maybe another like 2 months happen. And maybe we get somebody revealed when Joker gets released, and then there's somebody like, oh yeah, they're going to be coming at E3 or something, or maybe nobody, and then E3 happens, and I feel like we're going to get somebody big, and I could see that being Banjo Kazooie. I still kind of stand by my theory that Banjo Kazooie may have been negotiated for last E3.
I still think so.
Yeah, so I think that would be a really perfect time to announce a character like that. So that's kind of my prediction. But
or at least last E3 is when negotiations might have started, not necessarily settled the same day. So that could have been an ongoing thing for, who knows, maybe a month. I have no idea.
And it does look like Joker, because we didn't get gameplay, he may not be far in development at all. So
yeah, because they're still trying. According to them, they're still trying to wrap up the Piranha Plant. They said that DLC wouldn't start until after they finished Piranha Plant. So, and if they're going to release Piranha Plant in, I don't know if they said February. I forget the day. It's
I think
like
it's February.
I doubt that
they. Beginning.
I doubt that they, even if they did start work on Joker, I doubt they got far at all, which is why we saw no gameplay.
Yeah,
but because they know
thinking.
who the 5 are, they could already tease like the first one.
Yeah, I'm sure they probably already picked the 5, but
well, they said they did.
Yeah, but I'm just not. I just think that they might be much earlier on than a lot of people thought.
Yeah. So basically, depending on what the next 4 DLC characters are, they might have actually played it smart with Joker being the first one. And my reasoning for that is that the Game Awards is not a place where you would expect to release Smash information. Although people were kind of expecting or hoping for it. But I feel like that's information that well, okay, so basically let me put it like this in a comparison sense. Let's say, for example, Banjo Kazooie are one of the 5. Just for example, I'm not saying that they are. But let's say, for example, Banjo Kazooie are one of those 5. And if instead they showed some kind of Banjo Kazooie related ad that turned into a Smash ad, you would have a whole different feel because you'd be like, why is Banjo Kazooie on here? You know, you're like, why are they showing Banjo Kazooie at the awards? Whereas something like Joker in Persona 5 is something where you're like, okay, something Persona related is happening. Like, you wouldn't expect something Banjo Kazooie related happening. But
the trailer happened, and I assumed. I mean, I filmed myself. I don't know if you watched the reaction, but I was just like, okay, Persona. And I'm just sitting there thinking, oh, cool, like, Persona 5 is going to get ported to Switch.
Yeah,
right.
That's all I thought it was going to be. And then the letter happened. I was like, oh, snap, what? Like,
yeah. So I think that the awards and Joker, like, they matched together because they didn't have gameplay to show. They wanted to announce it somehow. And it also set up the perfect string of DLCs being like, be prepared to not expect who it's going to be. Whereas if it was someone like Banjo-Kazooie, for example, you would not have the same reaction. You wouldn't be like, oh my god, everything's on the table. Or whatever the saying is. You know, Joker...
The leak, whatever people have been talking about is just going to happen because Banjo happened.
Yeah.
Whereas Persona, like you said, even if we just get the characters, like, let's say the next 4 characters are 4 characters everybody's been talking about, we're still going to have people completely open-minded to tons of other stuff because Persona was so unexpected.
And I think
it'd be harder to lock down those 4.
Yeah, and I think that someone like Banjo-Kazooie or Geno or Shantae or Sora or any of those characters would be better revealed in a Smash Direct where they, do their typical, like, oh, when we have one last thing. Because then it's a Smash trailer. And if they showed a Smash trailer and it was Joker, you'd kind of be like, what? But to kind of announce it the way they did, where like, oh, something Persona related, and then lead into Smash was more fitting for the Game Awards and for the first DLC. So when I really thought about it that way, it made sense to me. It wouldn't make sense to reveal someone like a Square Enix character or a Rare character, because if they showed it off with the character or series first and then leading into Smash,
you'd already know. Yeah,
not only are you already know it's Smash related, but you're kind of like, well, what else could it be? Because Banjo-Kazooie is not relevant right now. Geno's not relevant right now. So you're kind of like expecting, like, as soon as you see those characters, you're like, oh, Smash. Or even if it is a relevant character like Sora or something, it really just depends on the situation. If you saw something like Sora, then I think that falls in the same category as Joker, where you're like, oh, Kingdom Hearts is going to be on the Switch. So it's like they played the reveal smartly in terms of what they announced first.
I agree. I think, even with Kingdom Hearts, like with Persona, I didn't, it wasn't like Persona, are we going to get Persona in Smash? If you had started with Kingdom Hearts trailer or maybe something even Monster Hunter, I would have been kind of on the edge of my seat, like, oh, snap, is this going to be for Smash or is this going to be a game?
Yeah.
But with Persona, I didn't even think like that Smash. It was just some Persona thing.
Exactly. So that's why I wasn't too mad afterwards, because I was like, you know what? They set it up perfectly. Now everybody is in the mindset of anything goes. Almost anything goes.
Definitely.
Whereas if they, like I said, if they did it with a character that is not relevant, that has some kind of history with Nintendo, right away you'd be like Smash, and then you would not be expecting it to be anything goes afterwards. A character like Joker really sets up the DLC pack to be like, oh my god, what's next?
Yeah, and the fact they didn't show any gameplay footage also meant that, they might have looked at their 5 fighters and maybe they had every intention of revealing like Banjo or something. Maybe that was what they were going to do, or maybe it was going to be a Square Enix thing. But, Nintendo is not unaware of the internet. And they may have seen like, okay, everybody's talking about, let's just say, everybody's talking about a Dragon Quest character. If we show something like that, first off, people are just going to think, everything else that's been guessed at is what they're getting. And it's going to be, lose the hype, blah, blah, blah. So then they might have just said, well, we don't need to show gameplay, so let's just show the most out there choice we have. Let's show the one that nobody's guessing, Persona character, and boom, now the doors are open and, nobody's sure of what we're going to get.
Definitely.
Now, was there anything else you guys want to talk about before we jump to the fan comments / questions? And Ryan, do you need to head out, or would you want to stick around a bit? You can head out whenever you want to.
Yeah, I do actually have to get going, but I'm looking forward to talking more about Smash next time we get together. But yeah, happy smashing, everybody.
You too, Ryan.
Can I ask a question real quick before you leave? Just what characters are you you've been playing? So what characters have you been drawn to? Like has anybody that you wanted to play impressed you? Has anybody you wanted to play been like disappointing? Is anybody you didn't think you'd play you've been playing? Like who are you playing?
Yeah, that's a great question. So my main in the previous games was always Zelda, and I was drawn to her, and I love her even more for multiple reasons. The redesign being one of them, and then also just it's great. It's so great, and I just love some of her the changes to her moveset, like her side B doesn't have her go into free fall anymore. I like that which that really messed me up in the past. So that
I play Little Mac over here, so having the side B not put me in free fall so much better.
Probably, yeah, even more relevant there. That's one thing. Also, like her down B is staged now, so I think that's really cool. How you can like really charge that up. It feels super powerful when you like fully charge it up and land it. Her combo ability is a little bit better. She has less landing lag, and I just really, really like the changes she's had. She feels less floaty, just a little bit faster. So I've always been drawn to her, and I love her now. She's definitely my best character so far. And then also people who I didn't think I'd like Robin. I could not get used to Robin at all in Smash 4, but now I think he/she has been given like the sped up treatment like every other character, having less landing lag, and she feels so much better to play than the previous iterations, as well as Palutena.
Yes, Palutena is so much better here.
Yes, I think she is like just total black and white difference, because I could not, at least for some reason, she was like nearly unplayable to me in Smash.
That's what I felt too.
Yeah, because she had so much lag after each smash attack, and I could just never land anything. I just felt completely useless, and now she feels great. So Robin, Zelda, and Palutena are my 3 characters that I just love dearly, and I love this game even more because of that, because they're cool characters and they play so great. So
all the magic users. The humanoid magic users.
The thing I've liked about Robin especially, I could never get the hang of this in Smash 4, but being able to see like the meter of how much longer you have like the sword or the book, it unbelievably makes a difference that I can tell how much more I have to use of something.
Well, I have a question for you based on that. If you, because I haven't played it yet, and I've been wondering this, when you use a move and it shows the meter, how do you know how much you have of the other moves? Does the meter change to the other meters?
I haven't played a ton of Robin. I believe it's just like if you're on the sword, it shows the sword, and then when it switches, it shows the next thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, it changes to the most recent move you use.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense. That's what I was expecting, but I wasn't sure.
And it's cool because it includes any of the even if you do the jab attack that involves the wind, or if you use like an aerial attack, or I can't remember. I think it's in the jab where you use the air and then you can use the fire. Like that that's also included in those like respective spell books. So it factors like every single move in, which is just
so it switches between the tomes.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, constantly.
Good.
And it's so cool. It's just
awesome.
implemented so well.
That's great. Is it easier to pull off the Nosferatu?
That is such a hard move to pull off. I've gotten it once or twice online, but it's really tough. I don't really think it's. I always stick with the other moves. I just love landing the Thoron. It just feels so good.
Me too. In the old game, at least.
Yeah, here too for sure. Yeah, it's so satisfying.
Well, that makes me that makes me wonder because somebody, I think it was Etika, it might not have been Etika, but somebody I was watching mentioned that Mewtwo's disable, I think it was, or whatever is the one that paralyzes you, has longer reach, and I hope that's true because I always wanted to use that move when I use Mewtwo, and it's so hard to use.
Mewtwo's really good in this game.
That's awesome.
It feels like most characters just feel like they play better.
Yeah.
Like any of the characters that felt a little like clunky to play, it just feels more like their moveset works now the way it's like supposed to.
I wonder if that's because of the speed up.
I haven't seen anybody yet where I feel like this isn't working or this doesn't feel better. Even characters that got like nerfed, I still think they flow into their moves nicely, if that's the right word. I don't know, but I'm liking the way this game plays a lot.
I wonder if they feel buffed because of the speed up, or just like this different balances in the game itself and not necessarily the character. Like maybe for example,
definitely have that.
Yeah, maybe for example, like everyone's smash attack does a little bit more damage, and it makes you feel like, oh, this character does more damage, whereas in retrospect, or proportionally, it doesn't. So I don't know if maybe the game itself being its battle system or percentages or however you want to explain it change a little bit, if that makes people feel like, oh, my character's better than it was in Smash 4, whereas it's proportionally the same. Like, I don't know.
I think overall the gameplay is fine-tuned, and that definitely makes some characters that even if the move hasn't changed, at all, the engine that you're playing it in is better, and it all of a sudden works now where it didn't before. That happens a lot with a lot of characters.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. I think the biggest thing with the speeding up is the lack of landing lag and like input lag and all the lags that are associated with initiating and like finishing moves is so much improved that I totally agree with PapaGenos. It just feels so much more fluid.
I'm so excited to see if there's any characters that I didn't play as that I'll pick up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because there are characters I wanted to play as that I just didn't because it just like couldn't use them as well.
Right. And that was Palutena for me, so I'm so happy that that's fixed.
Yeah, I wanted to play the Koopalings, like Bowser Jr., really bad in Smash 4. I really thought that was such a cool character, and I just couldn't really play them. A lot of their things just didn't really work the way it was supposed to. They were really hard to play. And now in this game, they're one of the characters I seem to be doing the best with. And I'm really happy about that. I don't know if they're going to be, a great character or not, but I feel like they're playable. Like, that's the difference. The character doesn't need to be like super high tier or something to me. They just have to work.
I feel like as long as it works, depending on the player, you can make them high tier.
Yeah,
for you.
Get good at somebody if as long as, again, the game works. Certain characters had such detriments before, but now it seems like not so much.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It works.
If Mario Tennis Aces is any indication, Bowser Jr. will be very, very good because he was broken in that game. But
I was hoping to see some Echo Fighters of Bowser Jr. in form of like Dr. Wily or Dr. Eggman or
so cool.
or any character, that
would be really cool.
Or like any character that sits in a flying mobile. Because a lot of people wanted. A lot of people actually I saw like, put Robotnik in, and I'm like, I don't feel like, not that he doesn't deserve it, but I just feel like I was always under the impression that when it came to third parties, like one character was enough to represent the series, and then they decided to throw in Simon and Richter together, but they did it in a way where one was an Echo Fighter of the other. So I thought, hey, this works if they're Echo Fighters.
Yeah, same with Ken.
Exactly.
Which is why everybody thought we were going to get Shadow, which I still think it's a little bizarre we didn't, to be honest. But,
I'm shocked by that.
Yeah, but yeah, it does feel like the easy way to add characters to the third party is to just do Echo Fighters, because then it doesn't feel like one series is just getting more love than the others. Though I will say, if any series that has a third party is worthy of having multiple characters, it's probably Sonic. That's the one that it does feel a little strange to. That's not.
All the
we
Sonic,
have a ton of Mario characters, ton of Zelda characters, ton of Pokemon characters, and then just Sonic instead of like Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Dr.
Well, all the
Sonic
characters, all the Sonic characters in the Sonic series are different types of Sonic, pretty much.
That's true.
And that's only like on the basic level. Like obviously the characters are their own characters in Sonic, and I should know because I'm a big fan of Sonic. But I mean, from the very basic, like a lot of the characters have similar anatomy and similar abilities on the basic level.
I mean, how many of them roll up into a ball? Like
a lot of them.
All of them.
Pretty much all of them, Maybe that ball isn't like pure ball for some characters, like I don't know, for example, Vector, maybe he doesn't look like a pure ball. Although it seems like in the games they pretty much make everyone a sphere shape, and like you see, it switches.
Yeah,
it switches, like the frames itself switch between ball and character rolled up. So you're kind of like, oh, this character, I could see the character spinning around, and it looks like a ball at the same time. So
yeah, it's like such a core mechanic to like classic Sonic is
exactly.
Getting in ball form and not being in ball form.
Yeah,
so.
like even the classic games, it's like Sonic, Knuckles, Tails, and now Mighty and Ray. It's like they're all Sonic clones, quote unquote, to the extent where they all run, spin dash, jump, but they each have their own thing. So like I feel like you can pretty much make not any Sonic character, but almost any like human animal Sonic character into an Echo of Sonic. But the third party Echo kind of set the precedence that if you're gonna add in a second third party character from the same series, they have to be not just an Echo Fighter, but an Echo Fighter of the main character from that, like the newcomer from that series, where like so Richter is the Echo of Simon, and
Ken.
Ken is the Echo of Ryu. So I feel like if you're gonna, so it wouldn't make sense to have like Eggman the Echo of Bowser Jr., but I think that would be really cool still, because it makes sense.
I'll put it that way.
Yeah.
Right.
But I still think Shadow made the most sense because he's also a hedgehog. He has like the same body as Sonic. So I'm actually still surprised that he didn't make it in as an Echo.
Yeah, we'll see if we get Echoes as... I don't think any of the DLC characters will be Echoes, but I wouldn't be that shocked if we get like free DLC for Mii costumes, or that event thing is... an Echo Fighter or two happen. That would be cool. So I have no idea what they're going to do with that, but I wouldn't be that shocked at getting some Echo Fighters somehow.
I am curious that since I'm almost expecting Banjo Kazooie as a DLC newcomer, I'm really curious what they're going to do with his style. Like, are they going to go with the classic, which Sakurai usually tends to go with classic? Are they going to ignore the nuts and bolts design? Are they going to try to do the classic and maybe just incorporate a few elements of the nuts and bolts design? I'm just really curious how they're going to handle Banjo and Kazooie specifically.
My guess would be they'd go classic, but who knows? But that's my guess. I think that seems the right choice and the obvious choice.
Yeah, I don't mind a nod to nuts and bolts. I remember somebody drawing a move set for Banjo Kazooie, and he pretty much everything was his classic moves, aside for I think the grab was the wrench from Banjo and for nuts and bolts, and they used that as a grab because in the game you could pick stuff up with it.
That would be fine. I wouldn't mind some minor or here and there nod to it. To be perfectly honest, you could make them look like they do in Nuts and Bolts and have all their moves be Nuts and Bolts, and I'd still be happy to get Banjo Kazooie and Smash. So,
all right. Well, Ryan, I know you got to go. So, where can they find you, Ryan?
You can find me on my YouTube channel, WreckitRyan, or on Twitter, WreckitRyan624.
Alrighty.
Thanks so much for having me.
No problem. Thanks for coming on, and hopefully you join us next week too.
Sounds good. All right.
That's
See you
fun,
later,
man.
Ryan.
Thanks for being here, and it was good talking to you and stuff.
Yeah, you too, man. Thanks,
Cool.
guys.
Later.
See ya.
So, PapaGenos,
Yes.
it's still me and you.
All right, we're going over fan questions or something.
Yeah. Although before we do that, I did want to ask you, because you asked Ryan the same question, who
go
you use in the new Smash Ultimate. Sorry, I couldn't think of the word. The new Smash game.
Yeah. So so I mostly try to main Little Mac. I did that in Smash 4, so I've continued to do that here, and I love the changes he's gotten. He feels, again, more playable. Just little things about him just feel like he's more playable. The Koopalings, I've been happy to find that they're, again, playable. I specifically play Lemmy. I've been liking them. And then as far as other characters go, I've been trying to play Kirby, Young Link, and Ken, but I haven't clicked with all of them completely. They're good, and I like them, but I feel like I still need to practice with them. And then Simon has probably been my favorite of the like newcomer characters. I really like his play style. Is awesome. It's really fun to just like, he has so many tools to keep people away. It's really awesome. And then K. Rool. I've also really liked K. Rool.
I really want to try him. I really want to try out King K. Rool.
But I will also say that I'm more impressed with how every character, just the game itself, feels better to me than like a specific character.
Yeah, I am so excited to play it, and I can't play it until maybe later.
Oh man, dude. Well, so let's get through these fan questions then, so you can go play.
Well, no, that's the thing. I have to study something for the new job,
okay.
So it's like I really don't even know if I can play it tonight.
Oh no!
So I'm like really upset. I had the package. I brought it in and into the apartment as I was going out to work today, and I was like, I'm playing you tonight. And then like at work, I realized there's something that I want to try to study so that I can maybe work on a specific project. I'm just like, I guess I got to study this now. So
responsibilities, right?
Exactly. So but yeah, we could get to some fan stuff now. I'm leaning on my arm on the floor and my arm hurts. Okay, so
I got this new like gaming chair. It was my birthday last month, and my dad got me this like gaming chair. I said I wanted one because I was using a not very good chair for a while there. So I got this nice gaming chair from him, and I'm sitting on that right now, and it's been awesome. I've never had one of these things, and it's great.
Well,
it's a E-Win gaming chair.
Well, I can tell you right now, the chair I use for the new place is just a folding chair, and it sucks.
Yeah, I had like it was not a folding chair, but it was like it's on wheels, and it was like a desk office chair, but it was like wooden, like parts of it, and it was like wooden and leather. It was like a kind of nice office chair, but and the back was also really low. It was not for sitting in for long periods. Let
me clarify. It's not that the folding chair sucks, because it is it does have a padded seat, and you know it's nice for a folded chair, but it's just the fact that it's a folding chair, and not like a gaming chair or a couch or something. That's what sucks. So, but anyway, I have a few questions / comments from LM Omni Alpha, who is always our MVP. He always asks questions every week.
Cool.
And since you weren't here the past few weeks, there's a couple things that I want to ask you based on what he asked. One of the things he asked us, and I actually don't remember if I said this last week or not, but he wanted to pretty much ask us if we played mobile games and what we play, if so.
I pretty much only play Pokemon Go. I think I've said that before on here.
I don't know if you said it. You said it to me, but I don't know if you said it on here.
Okay. Well, I pretty much only play Pokemon Go. I had played a few other very minor mobile games over time, but nothing. I never got hooked on anything. I played like draw something. I think there was like a Simpsons like build a town game I played for a little while. I don't remember the name of it. And a few other, very minor. What was one of them? One of them was like some like puzzle game and stuff. I don't know. I don't even remember the names of them. The only game that's really hooked me for a long period of time is Pokemon Go. So I'm not much of a mobile gamer, despite being on my phone a lot.
Yeah. For me, it is Pokemon Go, and then I go on and off with other mobile games. I recently picked up a game called SEGA Heroes. I think that's what it's called. And it is very money hungry. It's a puzzle game, and you use you can use 4 characters to fight, and each of those characters is a different like type of character, like different color. So you have blue, yellow, red, and green. And I don't know if each color has a specific type or not, but you can only have one of each color. And so the thing that annoys me is I feel like it really wants you to power up a lot or almost pay for stronger characters because the difficulty is high, I feel like. One of the ways I found around that is they do have something cool where if you get 3 stars on a stage, you can then the option to loot the stage becomes available, where instead of playing through it again, you just hit loot and you just get like the rewards from it again. So it gives you the option to loot a stage a certain amount of times before you have to wait a certain amount of time for it to refresh again. And I think you could force it to refresh with jewels, which is your precious resource in that game.
Gotcha.
But I find that looting a chunk of not chunk of stages, but looting a stage a chunk of times helps bring your experience points up a bit. So that's an option for leveling up. But one of the things that really annoys me is there's like a few really good characters, it seems. Like there's a few characters that they really push to be like, these are your special characters. Like these are the ones like you aim for these characters kind of, they have like amazing abilities. And, in order to get them, basically in order to unlock characters, there's a meter. And I don't know if they refer to it as coins or cards or medals or whatever they refer to it as, but you can get like 1 of a character, and then it fills up that meter by 1 point. And once it fills up the meter, then you unlock that character. And they still keep the meter, so the next time it fills up, you can, I don't know if the word they use is evolve, but like you can, evolve that character, which is separate from leveling up, but evolve them to like a better version of that character. So, they have these ultimate characters that I'm assuming are already enhanced all the way to the highest status, but to find these medals for them is so rare. And so they have one thing called the arena where you get to play against other people, and I'm assuming the people aren't playing live. Like, I don't think you're playing live people. You're playing the computer that's using their team. And so you have to be under, I think, 200 to get like a different color coin, like a special type of coin every day. Or every time you, I guess, win, you get that type of coin. And I think it's under 200. And it's under 200. Under 2,000, you get your precious resource jewels. And under 200, you also get these special coins. And those special coins, you can buy those really rare characters. Like, you could buy a coin for, like, however amount in the shop. So, with those numbers in mind, 200 and 2,000, those are your stepping points. So, I'm around maybe 3,000-ish. And I've been playing every day. And so like the other day I got under 2,000. I'm like, yes, finally I can make, I can start getting these jewels now. And the next day I started it and I was above 3,000. I'm like, are you serious? Like, I don't know. I don't know if it's just like so many people are playing or what the deal is, But if that's the case, then they really need to raise the bar from 200 because, and even 2,000 because you only get 3 keys a day and you use a key to play in the arena once. So you can only play the arena 3 times a day or refresh it, I guess, with jewels. So it's like, it's set up to be like, oh, you want those special characters? You want to use the special coins to get those characters? Well, you're going to have to pay us money if you want to keep playing in the arena. And it's like, and once you get to a certain, like once I hit the 2,000 ranking threshold, the characters that I was fighting were a higher level. So it's like, to even stand a chance, you need to be even stronger. So it's like, yeah, everything's free, but you're not going to go anywhere if you don't pay.
That's so many mobile games are like that. It's kind of one of my biggest like turnoffs from getting all that into them. Is so many of them involve, it's play to win, basically. I mean, even if it's not, it's, you can still play to win.
Well, that's the thing. It's like, it's play to win, okay, but don't make it a requirement. Like, you can't win if you don't pay. And that's what it starts to feel like.
It's not a requirement.
I actually, when I first...
basically is.
Actually, when I first started it, I bought, like, the beginner character, or there were like two beginner deals, so, and it was like $1 or so, so I was like, okay, so I bought
hook you in.
What?
That's how they hook you in.
Well, I did it because I was like, this is a game that I might enjoy. I never really played any puzzle games on the phone. Like, I never played Candy Crush and stuff like that, so I was like, maybe this will be my puzzle game. So I got Sonic. It was like an epic fighter, which I guess is one of the higher tiers. And then it was, I think his name is Death Adder from Golden Axe. Thank you. For some reason, I was thinking Guns N' Roses. Death Adder from Guns N' Roses.
I mean, Guns N' Roses, Golden Axe, they both they have epic metal names.
Epic Sonic and Death Adder from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I used to love Golden Axe when I was a kid. That was one of my favorite Sega games, actually. So I know that one.
This is a brutal version of Guns N' Roses. Death Adder from Guns N' Roses. That's pretty metal. But anyway, I bought them, and for a little while they were just like ridiculously strong, and then so at this point in the game they just feel like normal characters and not really ridiculously strong anymore. But it's just like it's like perfectly set up in a way to just nudge you along just enough to be moving on your own for free so slowly that you really can't unlock anything else. Like, or you can just unlock a very little bit at a time, and then they throw in your face like these goals of like characters that it's like, oh, unlock so and so from such and such series, and it's like, oh, you could pay for this, but not pay, but like you could spend jewels for this pack that will give you this many coins. And then that in and of itself is a bit ridiculous because it's like they have tiers. Like every time you spend jewels to get one of the packs, it's like the tier goes up so that next time you spend jewels, you spend a little bit more jewels and you get even better stuff. So it's like, oh, by tier 5, you'll unlock this really rare character. And to do that might be like $40-50, I feel like, maybe $30. I don't know. Yep. I'm just like, come on, like,
I'm not spending that much on this game.
I did it like okay, so in the beginning I was like, I'll spend $5 to get such and such character, and I was like, right. So when I did it, I'm like, well, why didn't I get the character? And that's when I noticed it said at tier 5, and I was like, okay. And then I think I tried it like one more time to see like what better stuff, because each time you get better stuff, and then and also because I didn't know how much the price was going to increase, and then after like the second time, I might have had enough jewels to get a third time, or I might have been like about to, and then like calculating in my mind how much money I'd have to spend, and then like stepping back and be like, no, because it was just too ridiculous. So like,
yeah, I mean, it makes it feel like, oh, it's this little mobile game and I didn't spend any money on it. Or maybe I spent a couple dollars at one time.
it's
Or
like
maybe
you
I
could
dropped
spend
like $20 on one I really liked. But then when you actually calculate, you're like, I spent more than I do on like a $60 game.
exactly.
Yeah,
Here's the thing. It's like
doing it.
It's like you can get this character, or you can get Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. I'm like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, really, please lower the price. Like, pay to win, okay, but at least make me unlock the Ultimate characters under $10.
Yeah.
Like, because you're basically only catering to people who can pay. And so it's like, well, I'm not rich, so I guess I'm not going to be good at this game.
Yeah, and then eventually you realize that the people who are like the best at it, you can never do that unless you decide that like this is the game I'm playing from now on. This is where my paychecks are going.
Okay, so I was doing that for a while with Kingdom Hearts Unchained Key, which became Union Cross. I was actually doing that for a while because that was my game. Like, and I became like one of the strongest in that game. And I was in this party, and I was one of the people carrying the party. And then I kind of fell out of it for a little bit. And when I came back, I was like behind because they just released some newer stuff. And at first I was like, all right, time to jump into this again. I'm excited to like have another game where I'm like really good at the same game, actually, not another game, but I'm like excited to be really good at this one game again. And I was already behind at it. And they announced like, the medals that you used, for your characters in Kingdom Hearts.
I've seen that game because I have a friend who plays it pretty often.
And not to go into another Kingdom Hearts rant, I'm just talking about playing a mobile game, the mobile game aspect of it. But they had like, I think when it first came out, the highest tier was maybe like 5. So each tier of a medal is stronger than the other one and much better to use. And so like as time went on, they would add a new one, then they would add a new one. So like the highest one was 6 or 7 maybe, and I think I could be a little off, so maybe 7 was considered EX, and for a while that was like that was the medals you wanted to use, and they were also like probably a lot of money in the shop to get if you wanted to try to get them. And so I think I now maybe have like 1 or 2 EX medals, but maybe a little more. I honestly don't know for sure. But then for a while when I stopped playing and came back to it, because I want to at least play the story, because I want to be caught up to date on the story. Even if I'm going to stop playing the game, I'm so big into like Kingdom Hearts is my favorite series that I want to be caught up with the story and experience playing through the story. So I was like, okay, I'll do that. And then they were introducing me that they updated the game to include you could basically take the lower medals and evolve them into higher ones. So a medal that was maybe a tier of 1 is now a tier, or you can upgrade it to a tier of like 8. And it's like, oh, so you could basically make any medal good now. This is really awesome. And then it wasn't until I started getting into it that I realized it was not awesome, because you had to work really hard to get the tickets to make the medal. Yeah. And so it's kind of like, so let me get this straight. There are people who are probably using like 8-tier medals of like the best medals and becoming like impossible to defeat in PvP because they added PvP tournaments. It's like a little old me. I don't feel like spending all that money and time on that. So it's kind of like, I feel like it probably divided the player base or user base. So it's like you really have to be careful if you're making a mobile game or you're in charge of a mobile game or however you want to explain, if you're on the team on a mobile game, you really want to pay attention to your user base and be wary of excluding newcomers. Cause
I mean, there's a tough balance of like, you want it to be about, how much time you put into it. And by the same token, you don't want people to get so, people who played day 1 and have been playing for like 2 years, that 2 years in, no one else can play your game because they'll just never catch up unless they pay a bunch of money.
Well, the only fix I could think of for that is if every player, like if every player had a level, then maybe as time goes on, they can adjust it so like newcomers get better stuff to kind of catch them up. So like if you're if you just started, like let's say let's say I was level like this is completely off. Like I think my level's 200 or something. But just for any game, just an example. Let's say I'm playing a mobile RPG game and my level is 20, and I've been playing for a long time, and that's why it's 20. And so I got a bunch of really good things. And then you decide, oh, that game looks fun. I want to play that. I want to get into the RPG. Then your player level is 1, and because so much time has passed by, player 1 should be rewarded with what the average player 20 has, you know? Maybe like you'll get a few high tier medals, or maybe like they'll give you incentive to play, like you will definitely unlock these tier medals by the time you're level 2 or level 3. This way they could take newcomers and catch them up with people. And so longtime fans would be annoyed because, well, I spent a lot of money on that. But I mean,
yeah, that's the only issue there, is that then you have the longtime people who either put a lot of time or a lot of money into it, being like, well, I should have just started late. You know what I mean? But
that's
it's
a
tough
thing.
balance.
What you're getting,
really
but
hard.
then you're at level 20, right? Okay, and so play for another few years, and now you're at level 40. Such and such person was at level 20. They probably would have, like the person who was at level 1 is now at level 20 where you were, and so maybe it took them less time to catch up to where you were.
You get to 20, but now you're at 40.
They're spending more money on the game as opposed to bailing out because they were so far behind. And also, even though you spent more money, in the long run, you spent more money to be on top for a longer amount of time. You know, which people don't see it that way. People don't see it. People see it like, oh, I spent more time and money. Like, I could have just been here if I did this. Yeah, but you didn't. So are you saying you would have really not played that game for like 2 years? Like, you know, the money you spent was because you played this game for that.
So you played it for fun. Like,
yeah. It's like, okay, so just don't play it for a long time and then come back to it like 2 years later where you can get the same thing, you know?
40 or whatever people are at that point.
Yeah, so it's like, that's the balance. Like, you spent a lot of money, okay, so stop playing if you really want to. In like 2 years' time, you can catch up with everyone else by spending less money, but you'll be caught up. So you're paying for the time you're spending on the game, in a sense.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the whole point is the game should be fun. You know, if the game is only about how much stronger you are than everybody else playing it, then I'd suggest get a different game.
Yeah, and but
if you're enjoying it, then you're enjoying it. So.
But that's also just an example. Like, that's just an example of an RPG that I thought of. Like, if you're playing a puzzle game, like the SEGA Heroes, for example, like, it shouldn't be as money. Like, there should be, and the thing is, companies are able to do it because they don't get reprimanded for it. And they're like, well, the rich people are paying for it, so, yeah, I'll keep doing it because I keep getting money from them. And it's like, okay, but you're excluding, like, probably more than half the player base. So that's why mobile games get such a bad rep. I think it's because they're clearly catered to people who are willing to spend money on it. And I feel like if you really...
It's a tough balance because you can play them a lot of times for free or for very little, but then you don't get, like, you know, the whole experience or whatever until you pay, again, like we were saying before, it ends up being more than $60. And then you have to look at it as, oh, it's this rinky-dink mobile game when I could have spent $60 on, you know, a AAA game of the year kind of game.
I would spend $60 over the course of a year or two, but not in like a day. You know?
Right. And if the game, that's how I felt about Pokemon Go. Like, I throw a little bit of money into that.
Yeah, me too.
Probably not $60 though.
Yeah.
But I played for, like, you know, a good 2 years. I played very consistently, and I felt whatever money I put in, you know, I had made that the game had given me enough of a fun experience that I wanted to put some money into it. I was fine with that. Like, so.
Yeah, like, I just had a thought. I was thinking, oh yeah, a friend of mine said something that really stuck with me, when he said to me, he's like, if I'm playing a game for free and I'm really enjoying it, I don't mind throwing a few bucks down because, you know, I got it for free and I'm really enjoying it. And I'm like, you know what? That's a healthy business mentality, or that's a healthy mentality for somebody trying to support a game that they like. Like, you know,
it's healthy consumer mentality, I think is what you mean. But yeah,
thank you. I mean, and I don't mean throwing a lot of money down. And I understand that some people are kids, or teens in school, and maybe they don't have jobs, or they don't have a credit card or something.
Right.
And so those people should be catered to as well. because these are people who are probably going to spend more time on their phone playing the game anyway. So you want to find this healthy balance between your consumers, and I feel like these companies, they're not doing that research, or they don't care, or they've done that research. Maybe they've done that research, and it's healthier for the business for them to just cater to the rich people, and that's just a shame. It really is.
It may honestly be the case, which is unfortunate, but yeah, I mean, I definitely like the mentality of it's not like I went out to a store, I bought a game, and now I have to figure out how I can return it or sell it for store credit or whatever it is. But with free-to-play games, I get to try the game out. If I don't like the game, I didn't put any money into it, and I never will. If I like the game and enough time has gone by, that's when I'll decide to basically, it's almost like donating to the game at that point.
Exactly.
So, I'm fine with that. I think that does fall on the consumers, their own ability to control that. And so I can't really blame a company if putting money into the game isn't worth it. If people are going to do it, then they did it.
Watch me blame it. So. I think at the end of the day, what these games should do, if they really want to pass as a game as well, aside from just a moneymaker, what they need to do is make sure that if you want to play without spending money, fine, then you can't compete against everyone else, which is terrible. But I mean, fine, if that's what you want to aim for, play to win as the only way to win, okay. But at least when it comes to the one-player mode, the story, if there is a story, don't exclude people who can't pay from the story modes, from the one-player campaign.
Fun experience needs to be there, regardless. Maybe you're not the best, maybe you're not winning PvP stuff or something, but you should be able to enjoy the game. Don't make it nothing.
Yeah, and I feel like the Kingdom Hearts game is a game where if you're playing for free and you don't want to spend money at all, you can get through the solo story. And I don't know, I can't say that with 100% confidence because I did spend money. So at some point in the game, I was ridiculously overpowered, and I still am ridiculously overpowered for the one-player story. I kill everything in 1 or 2 hits. But I'm hoping
if you had not done that,
I'm hoping that that's the case, because they're very generous with over time you'll collect jewels, and jewels aren't heavily abundant, but I feel like they're abundant enough to be able to continue if you die. Because it's if you get a game, if you die, it's you continue if you spend 100 jewels. And so I feel like you get them abundantly enough to be able to keep up that pace of, I died, let me continue. And they also introduced new skills where you can revive once per battle, and one chapter or piece of chapter or whatever you want to call them broken up into, they consist of multiple battles. And they after the Keyblade War, they released a spirit, so you kind of have a little pet, and the pet has skills, and one of the skills is to revive you or to heal you. So they made it, I feel like it's set up to, if you don't want to spend any money, you can still play through the game. You can get through the game without spending money. But when it comes to the online stuff, the bonus stuff, the extra stuff, I'll try to get these rewards, try to power this thing up, try to get these medals, that's the stuff where you'll probably have to spend money to get those. So, and I feel like that's a good balance, or at least that's not a terrible balance. And
it was at least they thought of trying to balance it. It wasn't.
I hope so, because because I was happy with it. So I spent a lot of money on that game for a while, and just before I was looking at it today or yesterday, and they had these new medals that were really strong, and I was my finger was hovering over. It's do I want to spend the money to be a VIP this week to get these medals? And I was really thinking about it and considering it, and then I thought to myself, I was if I get this, a couple of months from now, I probably won't even be using it. So I'm you know what? I already have a really good setup to get me through the main story. So
I don't need to buy this.
I want to, but I'm I'm probably not going to use it. The only thing that really like pushed me to consider maybe getting it is the fact that each medal, when it comes to attacking an enemy, the targets are broken into 3, where you can attack one enemy, you can attack all enemies, or you can attack a random enemy. And sometimes in the proud mode, which for people not familiar with Kingdom Hearts is the harder difficulty, that you need to use, they'll limit what you can use. They'll limit what medals you can use for that. So, like one of them was like, oh, you can only use medals that do random attacks. And I don't remember if you can't play it unless you do that, or if you can't get certain rewards or meet certain requirements. But basically, like, for the hard mode, you kind of need certain medals, and this medal looked like it was a really good medal and targeted randoms. So I was like, I don't have any really good medals that target random enemies. So I was like really considering, like, maybe I'll just get this just to have it for when I encounter that in proud mode. And I'm still kind of considering it just to have, like, for that scenario, because sometimes, and by sometimes I mean like I used to play it more, but not much anymore. But like maybe a month or so ago, I picked it up just to play proud mode again, and I was like, oh, this is kind of fun. They actually made it a little bit easier, not easier in difficulty, but easier to find the medals you want, because instead of having to go through all your medals to be like, and like filter them and be like, okay, these are the ones I want to use. They actually have like a button to optimize it, so it just takes, like, selects them for you, which is very cool. But sometimes I want to use a couple of different ones too. But anyway, the point is that I forgot the point. The point is I forgot the point. Oh yeah, the point is that I was really considering, and still kind of am considering, getting it just to have like a high tier random medal, just for like in the chance that I decide down the line to get back into it, I'll have like a good random medal.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's really the only reason why I'm really wanting to get it, that medal, because I might wind up using it in the end. That's why. So I haven't decided yet, but I think we've exhausted
mobile
that
gaming
topic. I mean, the only other mobile game I would really mention that I've been playing is Sonic Forces Speed Battle, because they have a holiday. Cause I remember a few episodes back I mentioned they had like Halloween special characters. It was like a Halloween outfit Rouge and a Halloween outfit Shadow. So right now they have like a holiday Christmas outfit, classic Sonic, and he looks pretty adorable. And the only way to get him is to like do the missions, and so I'm like kind of close to completing them. And I think when I checked earlier today, there's 15 hours left of it. So it's like maybe I want to try to at least unlock him. So I'm like,
one of those like timed event things that you just feel pressure. You gotta do it now.
Yeah, because you know why? Because if you run out of the red star rings to refresh, so you could do another quest, like then you could spend like $2 or $5 to get more red star rings to keep refreshing it, so you could keep building up the meter to unlock the character. So this is all about money. The timed event means like, well, I gotta spend the money now, otherwise I'll never have this character.
Yeah, or I gotta spend a lot of time now, but I can't. Yep. I only have a week, and I'm really busy this week, so.
So I think the bottom line is, yes, I like mobile games, but no, I don't like the present day mobile games. Like
practices of mobile games.
Yeah,
sometimes.
Yeah, there you go. If I need to like imagine if they made spending money on mobile games illegal.
Could happen. I mean, I could see it as it could be like a gambling thing.
You know,
it's possible.
When it comes
to other things.
Yeah, when it comes to opening up the packs or like paying for packs to maybe get something, I thought I heard somewhere that in Japan or somewhere it was like illegal, so they had to like change it because it's considering gambling. Because you literally are
really strict gambling laws. So I could see a lot of mobile games, though I know they're big on like the gacha games and stuff. I think the mobile games somehow get around it legally somehow. which is I think why they're so popular in Japan. Actually, is because Japan actually really likes gambling, but you know, you have to go to the what are those places where they have the coin games, but the coin it's coins for just that arcade place basically. Is it Gachapon? Is that no? Those are the
a casino.
The eggs. No, they don't have casinos. They have like totally blanking on the name. There was tons of them. I've been to Japan twice. There was tons of them there.
Wow.
I can't think of it. Anyway, they have these like it's pseudo gambling. It's more like an arcade. You play it like slot machines and you win coins, but the coins are just for the arcade you're currently in or that brand of arcades, and then you can use those coins to win points for the place, and those points can then be used to buy prizes, but just at that place. So it's more of an arcade. It's the way they like get around gambling, but the stuff that you can buy there is like everything. So it's basically gambling.
Wow.
They have weird gambling laws, and I think mobile games are somehow similarly don't apply as gambling.
There should be some kind of like ethics committee or something to
something
do,
which I understand. I mean, gambling can historically have some very detrimental effects on societies. So
I mean, because I understand if in order to keep a game going, you got to spend money, because people don't work for free. But I also understand that there are people who make completed games and sell them and then work on DLC. So, like, I feel like there can be some way to restrict mobile games to kind of do something similar. I just don't know restrict how much money, somehow find an average of like user spending money, or somehow find an average of like what is required to I don't know how, but there has to be some kind of oversight where it's like, you can't put this price tag on that high because you're also expecting players to pay for this and this week. Like, I don't know how they would go about doing that, or whether it's even possible, because that's also like on a game by game basis.
Monitoring of these games too, which it's tough. It's a tough thing. I mean, I think it's kind of like there's been some backlashes to some DLC and paid for stuff, not necessarily mobile games, but in other games in recent years. And I think the only way to really fix it and make a nice balance is if the players continue to voice their opinion when they think a company is doing something ridiculous, to the point where companies will know to be wary of doing something ridiculous, because most companies know when they're doing something just to make money. Like, I feel like the Smash DLC, the fighter class is blind right now, but I am pretty confident in Smash that, I'll be getting my money's worth. And there's other games that, I'm confident if they do DLC, I'll be getting my money's worth with that DLC and stuff. And I don't have to go in blind, I can wait till it's out. But, the difference between that and like day one DLC, which ends up just being like a costume or something, and it's expensive, and you're basically selling me, you're basically cutting things out of the game to then sell it to me. It's tough, because I do want games to have more content later. I love that. But I don't want, them to cut content out of a game just so they can sell me the game in pieces. So it's really up to, I think, the consumer base to be vocal about when they think a game company, is doing unethical or wrong practices, and just make the game companies a little fearful of ripping off the consumer. So it's a weird balance. We're in a weird time. It's very new. All this stuff is very new.
Yeah. So going back to the comments, El Omni Alpha actually has like a bunch of other things he said, and I don't think we're gonna have enough time to go over everything. Because we've already been doing this for almost 2 hours, and I really wanted to limit it to like an hour, but that didn't happen because like for Alpha, he doesn't record at home, so he doesn't have the luxury of being like in his room or somewhere to record. So I understand that, but I also figured since we're all home, and we didn't have to worry about that, and then Ryan had to leave, so he was able to leave, and so I was just kind of under the assumption that we kind of have time this week, so I was like, I'm not going to limit it to an hour if we're having a good conversation.
Yeah.
But that being said, we've almost been doing this for 2 hours, and I don't know. Like at some point have to stop. So
yeah, I mean, same here. I know you said you had to do something
exactly.
for work, and
if I had nothing to do tonight, I would keep talking. But I'm like thinking about how I'm gonna have to listen to this whole thing to make sure it came out right. And if I'm doing that, I can't study. So I'm like wondering if this is even gonna come out, if I'm gonna release this tonight. But
I mean, whenever you want to stop, man, it's fine with me. I'll try to be around more often, and we can, do another one. Hopefully soon, if you want to do that.
I'm just trying to figure it out. And there was like one last thing I wanted to discuss before heading out, and I'm trying to remember what it was, because there was a few things that El Mom the Alpha asked that I wanted to ask you as well. I think that we pretty much exhausted the mobile topic.
Yeah.
Because he had mentioned that he played Dragalia Lost, or I think he said, I was wondering if either of you or Ryan, if he's there next week, and unfortunately we just missed Ryan. I wanted to ask him this, but I don't remember if I asked him last week or not. But anyway, he says he was wondering if either of you played Dragalia Lost or any other lower profile.
I know of it, but I don't play it.
Yeah, I really don't know much about it other than I've seen ads for it, so the name sounds familiar. He says, for example, besides the Nintendo games, I play Monster Super League and Honkai Impact, so I don't know what those are.
Yeah, I don't know either of those.
I think I actually answered this last week, because he asked what favorite Halloween time candy was, and I feel like I answered that with Alpha. What's your favorite Halloween time candy?
I mean, specifically Halloween time, I don't know. I like Kit Kats quite a bit. Ooh, I do a lot for Halloween. I didn't do it this year, mostly because of the YouTube channel and Smash and stuff. But I'll definitely do it next year. I usually do this gigantic setup outside my house for Halloween. I'm big on Halloween. I really love it. It's my favorite holiday. I love just horror movies and stuff. I love setting all this freaky, spooky stuff outside my house and scaring the kids as they come up to get the candy. It's like my favorite thing. But as far as candy that I just like, Kit Kat comes to mind, but I don't know if that's specifically Halloween enough. But yeah, I like Kit Kats.
It's fine.
Milky Ways too.
I guess my interpretation is what is your favorite candy to eat, or when it comes to Halloween time?
Yeah, probably those two. When I was trick or treating, getting Kit Kats, getting Milky Ways were probably my favorite. Candy bar type.
I love
candy.
Reese's peanut butter cups.
I was happy.
When I was younger, I was so happy to find a Reese's peanut butter cup. I would always be like, "Can I eat your peanut butter cups?"
I'm not counting peanut butter cups out. I'm a big fan of Reese's peanut butter cups.
You're a big fan or not a big fan?
Milky Way guy.
Did you say you were not a big fan, or you are a big fan?
No, I am. I am a big fan of Reese's peanut butter cups. I'm more probably of a Kit Kat Milky Way guy, but I love Reese's peanut butter cups too. Okay. I think my thing is I can't eat too many of them. I start to feel kind of queasy.
Wow.
Whereas I could eat a lot of Milky Ways and Kit Kats without feeling sick. I do like a Reese's.
So a Reese's.
a Reese's peanut butter cup.
So there's one thing he asked that I'm gonna kind of cut the question short a bit because of the time, and I figure this will be the last one we answer.
All right.
He asked, what stage in music for the reveal trailer, at least you can pick as much music as you want, would you want for your desired 5 DLC characters? Now, he asked this question 3 weeks ago, so that was obviously before Joker came out. So I figured to shorten it to just one. I mean, I know for you it's Gino. So unless you have another more desired character,
my most desired is still Gino.
So I guess in that sense, what stage in music for a Gino reveal trailer would you want?
I would definitely want the Forest Maze music. That's it's my favorite Mario RPG song. I use it at the beginning of my YouTube channel. So I definitely want that music. I think it's awesome. Really want it in Smash. And then stage, there's a couple stages. I don't know what I'd want for his reveal trailer. I'd maybe want him on more of a Geno appropriate area. But I always thought a cool stage for Mario RPG would be the Axum Ranger ship. And have it fly around the Mario RPG map to some extent would be really cool.
That'd be pretty cool.
Moving stage. Or on top of Exor would also be cool, the big sword.
What about I feel like his home turf would be the Rainbow place, right?
Yeah, or you could do, because they cut out the Rainbow Road stage from the 3DS, and I don't really know why they cut it out. Most of the other stages, I can think of the reason why they cut it. That's one of like 2 or 3 that I can't figure out. So I was thinking maybe they could just make a new like Star Road or Rainbow Road or whatever, some sort of stage for him like that, or Star Hill specifically for Mario RPG. But he could just have more of a generic, starry Mario stage, kind of like Rainbow Road or Star Road or something.
Well, what music would you want in that level, I guess?
In that kind of level? I mean, I would still want the Forest Maze music for sure. Man, I don't know. I guess just a bunch of different. I mean, Mario Galaxy kind of has a lot of songs like this, but just of those like.
Well, I feel like a Mario RPG would probably a level. Sorry, I feel like a level for Geno would probably use a lot of Mario RPG music.
Oh yeah,
or at least because it's Square, like 1 or 2.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. If we got it from Square, maybe there wouldn't be that much.
I'm also curious what the icon would be, if they would use the mushroom or like a different.
That's always been like a kind of out there question. Though I will say for Geno's Spirit, they used just the mushroom. So he probably
the
just
spirits have icons
character based on that.
Spirits have icons, or just some spirits?
Trying to. I don't know for sure off the top of my head. I believe. I don't know if it was the battle. I believe at some point with the Geno spirit, you get the Mario icon is associated with it. I do not know if that is with the spirits, like in the spirit gallery area or vault or whatever, or if that's when you fight him or what. But I'm almost positive there is at some point a mushroom associated with it.
Who does he possess?
I remember making that note of like, oh, okay, I guess they associated the Mario series with him.
Well, who does Geno possess?
I believe it's Sheik.
Really? I feel like
Mario Galaxy stage and Sheik.
I feel like it would be most fitting for Mega Man.
Yeah, I think Mega Man is more like Geno in that he has a gun hand and he's a little blue guy. Yeah. But yeah, they went with Sheik. I guess. I mean, Sheik's blue. Kind of the face with the hair sticking out from the turban sort of looks like Geno, I guess.
They did the same for Shantae being a spirit for Zero Suit Samus, and I always figured she would probably possess Zelda, but
yeah, I mean more of a magic using character, but I think they went with just a ponytail, like yeah.
Oh, she's got a ponytail, so yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Well, so I'll say mine, and then I'll say one that's probably overlapping for us, which is Banjo Kazooie. But
yeah, go for it. That was the other one I was going to maybe think about was Banjo.
Yeah, I think I'm sure we've exhausted on this show, and then the podcast that we did for the I forget what it was called, but it was pretty much a podcast about Shantae and Smash, which was before I brought back the show with Alpha Stoutland, but we kind of exhausted the topic of Shantae and Smash, and I personally think that if there was a reveal trailer for Shantae, it would use the Dance Through the Danger song with the vocals from Christina V. The stage, that was also something we kind of exhausted ideas for. We thought about Risky Ship. We thought about was it Tasseltown? Scuttletown, not Tasseltown. I was thinking of, there's a song that was like Tasseltown remix or something. But Scuttletown, and I also was thinking about a tour, like a stage that tours like all the islands or like the main island of Sequinland. So like those were different ideas for a Shantae stage. For the trailer, the music would have Dance Through the Danger. And for any other songs in the stage itself, there's just so many good Shantae songs to choose from. They're all very upbeat, like certain boss battles, certain levels themselves, even to have a remix of them, which I don't know if they... Actually, I wouldn't know this off the top of my head. If the third party... Did the third parties... Yeah, some of the third parties do have remixes, I remember. Yeah,
I think so. I believe they do, yeah. Yeah, they definitely do. Yeah.
But actually, going back to Geno, I would really be curious if Geno did wind up making it into DLC, and they did put a level like Forest Maze or whatever the level winds up being. Knowing how, for some reason, knowing how Square is very, I don't know if stingy or stubborn is the right word, but with their music being, I guess, pricey, or I don't know what the deal is, but knowing how they are, I feel like you'd only get 1 or 2 songs, like, and they would probably be related to the stage. Like if you got Forest Maze, you'd probably only get the Forest Maze music and maybe like battle music from Mario RPG, and they probably wouldn't be remixes. They'd probably be originals, considering how the Final Fantasy VII ones are originals. However, I know Sakurai was aiming for the music being like, I think he said that he remembered seeing like the finale of a tournament and the music was just not fitting. So the idea behind making the music in Smash Ultimate was that every single song could be a potential like
hype song.
Yeah, hype song. So I can't imagine like Forest theme fitting with that without a remix. So
yeah,
I'm really curious as to what decision they would make when it came to adding Geno in when it comes to the music and levels.
Well, I will say this: the composer for Mario RPG, and I'm forgetting her name off the top of my head. I think it's Yoko something. She is working. Shimura? She's already working on Smash. She's already working on Smash Ultimate. She did some of the songs already, or did some like remixes for songs. So it's possible that with Geno, because that composer is already on board, they may be able to more easily get a remix of Mario RPG. She could remix
her own song. That would be awesome, right?
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, I understand what the Final Fantasy songs are like. Dragon Quest or Chrono Trigger or whatever it is, it may be tougher to get that composer on board, or the rights to those songs might be in the hands of the composer and Square, and then Nintendo has to, it might be all over the place. So it might be easier with Mario RPG than it is with Final Fantasy, which we only see 2 songs. But I don't know that for sure. It's all negotiation stuff, which is always questionable and behind the scenes and really impossible for us to know.
Yeah. Before we talk about Banjo Kazooie, I just wanted to say that I have no idea, since I don't know anything about Persona, I have no idea what kind of level they would pick, what kind of stage they would pick. Like, aren't they characters in high school? Like, with the high school, like a high school?
Like high school during the day, and then they like go on these crazy adventures at night.
Okay.
But I don't know if they would do like just like some high school or something. Here's the thing, like I said, I haven't played Persona 5. So since Joker is specifically from that game, I assume the locations, would become something from that game.
That makes sense.
So I don't know for sure.
Are they related to the previous installments, or are they standalone titles, like the Final Fantasy games are?
5 is related to, I think it's the one that was on 3DS, actually. Persona Q, is that the one that was on 3DS, I think? I don't know. Again, I'm not a huge Persona person, so if I'm wrong, don't quote me. But I think it's like specifically related to at least one of the Persona games.
And I've never even played Persona, and that's not because it's not because I don't like it or anything. I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make that clear.
Gotcha. So I don't know for stage. I really don't know what they go with. You'd have to ask somebody who's more of a Persona fan than me.
I don't really know Persona fans.
I have some friends who are big Persona fans, so I could definitely ask them, and they'd probably give me some cool responses, I'm sure. But
so for Banjo Kazooie, I pretty much have always had this idea for how the trailer would go, and it would be exactly the same as the intro to the first game, like before you press start. Like before you press start, when you hear like the music and he like knocks on the screen.
And he does the
and like they're playing the bit. Like I imagine they would probably build up the hype first by showing like the stage and it's empty, and maybe like one of the Nintendo characters or somebody's like doing something there, and then like maybe gets attacked or something happens to the character, and then like you're like, oh, what was that? And then the music plays, and then like Banjo comes, steps into the view of the camera and knocks on the screen, and then like as the music goes dun, 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 and like kicks in, then once it starts playing, it starts showing like gameplay of him.
I would love a Grant Kirkhope like version, like banjos and string instrument like version of like the Smash theme. I think that would be amazing if they did something like that.
Mm-hmm. What kind of music would you want? Because there's some really amazing music for Banjo and Kazooie.
Yeah, I mean, I would want probably like the main like Gruntilda's like castle or whatever it's called. I want that music. It's kind of like Teddy Bear's Picnic. The like doo 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 doo
yes,
like that. I definitely want that.
Is that what it's called? Teddy Bear's Picnic?
Well, there's a song called Teddy Bear's Picnic that like it's definitely basing itself off of.
Oh, I never knew that.
It's like a classic song. And it definitely like has an element of that song in it. Like if you go look it up, I'm sure people have done comparisons on YouTube.
The final boss battle against Gruntilda is the same song, like sped up and like.
A lot of the songs in that game are that song like changed. Like when you go to the snow area, it like does it from like a different instrument.
It's like really brilliant, I gotta say.
Yeah. Oh man, no, the sound design in that game is amazing. But so I want that song, and then I like Treasure Trove Cove. Probably as my favorite.
I
song,
was just thinking about Treasure Trove Cove.
Probably my favorite song. If I had to pick a stage, probably Spiral Mountain, just because I think it's the most classic so
good. Yeah. I think they would need some kind of montage or
medley, like a
medley. Thank you. Medley was the word I was looking for. Like a medley of some songs. I would love a medley. I would love Treasure Trove Cove, Spiral Mountain, Gruntilda's Lair / the final boss battle against Gruntilda, because it is the same song, so like a remix of it would probably sound the same.
Yeah,
unless like it's the lair and leads into the boss battle. I'm sure there's a couple of other amazing songs that just don't come off the top of my head, like some of the boss battles in the game. But then you also have Banjo Tooie, and I think I don't know if a lot of the music was reused. Some of it maybe was. Obviously, Spiral Mountain.
As well as I played like a ton of Banjo Kazooie. And like I played Tooie, I've beaten Tooie, I liked it and everything, but somehow it just didn't stick with me as well as Kazooie for whatever reason.
Kazooie was like
good game though, but it's one of the reasons why I picked Spiral Mountain as the stage, because it's in both games.
I loved the map of Tooie, like the idea of
all the stages like kind of connecting.
That and the idea of like, or like the illusion of this was here the whole time in Kazooie, you just couldn't reach it.
I love that too, because that was one of the things I really wish they did. They were supposed to do the thing where you could like, you could get like the ice key and these like big eggs. Like there was stuff in Banjo Kazooie that you couldn't actually get, and you were supposed to use the 64, was it disk drive or something?
Yes.
There was like a thing that was supposed to come out that was gonna, like, you're gonna be able to connect two games together, and they were all set up to do that. So there was stuff in Banjo Kazooie you couldn't get, and knowing that Tooie, takes place, like you said, it's just an area you just couldn't get to in Banjo Kazooie. It just feels like it opens that game up. I remember that being really cool as well. That I was like, oh man, I'm just in Spiral Mountain, and then oh man, there's a big hole here now. I can go somewhere else.
They finally winded up. Wait, what did it open a hole in? Oh yeah, the side. You're right. Did they? They finally did actually do something with that when they released Banjo Kazooie and Banjo Tooie on the Microsoft eShop or whatever it's called, but it unlocked stuff for your car in Nuts and Bolts, and I was like, oh, how anticlimactic.
There was a way to get those items in Banjo Kazooie too. You could go to the castle,
and you type in passwords.
And you could get them. They just didn't do anything, but you could get them all, which was satifying to me.
They did stuff. You didn't hear a jingle. You had to actually like go to the place to see it, I think.
Well, right, yeah. I mean, it did things, like it opened up a way to get the key, but what I mean is like you got the key and then you couldn't do anything.
It was in your inventory though, but like you did nothing with it.
But just,
it was like a collectible, and there were eggs and the keys. But I was the only like password I remember is Wishy Washy Banjo that like, turns you into the washing machine.
Washing machine? That would be a great Final Smash. The washing machine.
I feel like a better one would be when he turns into the T-Rex.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a good one too. They definitely
maybe
need...
like it'll start off as a joke where like Mumbo appears and turns you into the washing machine, and he's just like, oh, and then he turns into the T-Rex and then like attacks.
Or it would be cool if there was somehow something in his moveset that like you gain Mumbo tokens somehow, and when you got enough of them, Mumbo showed up and he's going to transform you, but it was like random and there's like 4 things you could get. Like that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
but I mean, I don't know. There's not any characters that have like. I think Ryu has like 2 different Final Smashes.
It'd
be cool to have a random one.
It kind of reminds you of the limit break that Cloud has, except yeah. Actually, I could see that happening, like building up a meter, but then once you actually activate it and transform, it's only limited to like maybe 10 seconds or something, depending on the transformation. So
it goes away eventually.
Pretty much like the limit break. But it does, but it's not going to fill up as like you take damage and deal damage. Like there'd probably be a different way to fill it up, and I don't know how. But
however they do Banjo Kazooie, they definitely need to incorporate like transforming, even if it's just one thing in a Final Smash. Like that,
I think it would make the most sense as a Final Smash because I don't know how you can use it in the moveset while still kind of being fair.
Also Banjo Kazooie has like so much going for them that could make just a good natural Smash moveset that I'd hate for their whole thing to be a gimmick about transforming.
Actually, yeah, I can see it work. I can see it working in the same way that like my idea for Shantae transforming would be a smash attack, and like charging the smash attack would be her doing her dance for when she transforms. So I can like imagine charging a smash is when like Banjo's like hovering and the sparkles are going around him, and then releasing it is like the transformation doesn't attack and he turns back. However, I feel like that would take away a little bit from what Banjo and Kazooie are as characters.
And what they can do just as themselves.
Because like that's a big part of the game, but not a big part of the character. Shantae's transformations are a big part of the character.
Yeah, she would have to do her transformations because that, like you said, is a big part of her.
Yeah. In the same way that like dodging and slowing down time is a big part of Bayonetta's character, and or at least in her game's fight style, and the same with Cloud and the limit break, and with Ryu and the like facing your opponent and like the inputs to an extent
that are integral to how that character plays.
Yeah, so I feel like that's not necessary in Banjo's moveset, but can be used in a taunt or Final Smash.
Oh, taunt would be good too if they just transform as one of their taunts. It might be a long taunt, but
the only problem is what happens if somebody hits you while you're doing it. Just like it just disappears and you're back to Banjo getting hurt.
I have no idea. That's for Sakurai.
Or like, would there be
any character? If there's ever a character like Shantae, definitely has this. Banjo definitely has this. Where you coming up with a moveset isn't difficult. It's what's difficult is figuring out what can't go, like that you don't have enough room to put everything you want in there. That's a good character for Smash.
Yeah, with Shantae, it makes sense because her transformations are instantaneous. So, or at least reverting back and stuff. It's like it just happens. Like there's there's like a puff of smoke and she's there, so it works as smash attacks in my mind. I think that's the best way to implement them because her specials would be like her items. And other things she uses in the game, like the pike balls and stuff, or flamethrower. But for Banjo, I think that it'd be funny as a gimmick. Like, let's say a taunt turned him into a washing machine. If you got like knocked off, or somehow you fell into free fall, being a washing machine would make you heavier and plummet faster. Like it works against you, but like it's just like a funny
Easter egg type.
It's like, well, that's what you get for taunting, you know?
Yeah.
It's like you don't have to taunt. So
yeah, that would be funny.
Or like maybe the same button to like one taunt will be like a few different random transformations, kind of like Pac-Man has the different like things he holds.
Namco stuff that he holds up.
So like one of them would be the same transformation set up with the sparkling and hovering, but then like Kazooie turns into the dragon and it's like her head like they kind of look at each other. And then she just like blows fire or something, like just like a little like puff of fire, like not to do an attack, unless maybe it would be neat, maybe like how Luigi's like kick hurts
has a small
like like maybe it'll do like a little puff of damage, like if you were standing on there. It's kind of like, well, that's what you get for letting them taunt.
Yeah. Or you attempted to attack because you thought, oh, maybe it'd be the washing machine, but no, you got the dragon and it hurt you slightly. Nothing major, but it's there.
Yeah, it's just like a little nod. Like that would be a great taunt where it's like a quick transfer. It doesn't even have to be quick because you have some long taunts, but like a semi-quick transformation that could be like one of a few things that's random, like washing machine, Dragon Kazooie, and like maybe like 1, 2 more. Like maybe
I love the pumpkin. That was always one of my favorites.
That'd be funny too. Like if they reacted to each transformation.
Yeah.
Like even if Banjo turned into the washing machine, like what he does is like the washing machine door opens up and water comes out. And it's like if you're there, you get like, you just get wet, like or something. It's just like a taunt that'll do like, it won't kill or really do anything. It'll just like get hurt a few percent.
Or like it has a little bit of an interaction, but nothing. And since it's random, you wouldn't be able to like actually use it. Like you wouldn't be able to plan this, but
it might work like Mario's the Flood, except it probably wouldn't go far. It would probably be like right in front of it. Like not even that long. It'd probably be like it'd probably just literally come out and down like right in front of it. So, like, if you're standing in front of it, you just get pushed over a little bit. So, like, if you did it on the edge of a platform and someone was hanging on, that like it
would knock them back a little bit.
It would cause them to let go. Like, just little things like that would be neat. But like, obviously, they're not cheap or tournament winners. It's just like little things that you'd be like, haha, that's neat. I can't believe that happened.
Yeah.
But it's not something you would rely on. That would be amazing. I think I'm expecting too much.
Same. Again, like I said earlier, even if they just give me like a bunch of nuts and bolts moveset, I just want Banjo Kazooie and Smash.
If Microsoft
was like, they so fitting.
Yeah, if Microsoft was like, you can use Banjo, but he can only use stuff from nuts and bolts. I'd be like, it'd be bittersweet.
Definitely, but I'd still be happy about it. I just want them in.
I'd be like, yes, he's in, but he really doesn't have many moves in nuts and bolts.
I couldn't see much they'd take from that. I mean, the only thing I could really see is that maybe you get like a vehicle as a final smash, or
like Bowser Jr.'s forward special where he turns into the cart.
Yeah, I could see some like maybe one thing alluding to it, but honestly, knowing Sakurai, I feel like it would probably just be a very basic.
Yeah, I think he would
moveset, which is fine. That's how I prefer it.
Yeah, I think he would push for the original moveset, just like he pushed for like classic Pac-Man's design and
classic Mega Man.
Yeah, which I think if Banjo-Kazooie were going to be implemented into Smash, it would be best in Sakurai's supervision. So it's like I would probably trust him the most to handle implementing Banjo-Kazooie in.
Same. It's one of the other reasons why it's just good to get Banjo and Smash is get Banjo back with Nintendo. Sakurai would do him justice, and I feel like Microsoft kind of knows this too, that they have this IP that people really like, but that anything they do with it will probably be met with backlash.
Well, they did recently.
For getting it to Nintendo.
Well, they did recently. Whoever they is, I forget who, but it was released recently. The Conker and the Banjo-Kazooie little statue things for those collections, as well as First Four Figures, which is a company that's known for making great statues. They released a Banjo-Kazooie statue that's gorgeous.
The flying one?
Yeah, it's gorgeous.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
So it almost feels like Microsoft is down for, at the very least, representing Banjo and Kazooie. I think this year or next year, I don't know the date, but it's like their anniversary.
It's this year, which was one of the other reasons why I thought maybe the Game Awards would have announced them. But again, they might just not be far enough along. It might have just been at E3 that they got the rights. Who knows?
That's true. I feel like
that's my guess. I do think they're in. That's just. I know that's saying a lot, but I really do. I don't know.
Yeah.
It feels like they are. I don't know.
I feel like because of the history, Banjo-Kazooie are the ones that stand the best chance out of like the characters we want, and just in general.
I feel that way too. I feel like they have a lot going for them.
Yeah, I'm at the point where I'd be kind of shocked if the 5 DLC fighters went by and they were not in it.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'd be a little surprised to see their absence at this point.
Yeah.
Before it was kind of more of a pipe dream, but at this point, I do think, yeah, I mean, the only way I could see it happening is if like there are no Western third party, it's all Japanese companies. I could see that happening, I guess. Even still, I'd almost be like, well, is there going to be more characters after the Fighter Pass? Is it like I'd still be kind of expecting them.
And in terms of stages, I think a tour around Spiral Mountain would be the best stage.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's in all the Banjo Kazooie games. It's a pretty well known location.
Yeah,
and it works. It's a it's a mountaintop. It's a bridge. It works as a stage.
I can also see the top. Well, actually, this would probably be incorporated into the tour, but the top of Gruntilda's lair.
Yeah, I could see just that whole area turning it into a stage somehow would work great.
And because then it could go to some locales from Banjo Tooie as well. I don't know.
Open up there.
I don't know how it would incorporate levels from the first game, because my understanding was that, aside from accessing them from in the castle, my understanding was that they weren't real worlds. They were like made from.
Yeah, I really don't know, because like Mumbo is in there's like Mumbo's Mountain and he's in all these worlds. So I don't know if you're getting like it's a portal and it's taking you to a real location that's far away, or if they're actually like fake worlds that the witch created. I really don't know.
His characters move from world to world. Like, I remember the camel from Gobi's Desert moved to...
he leaves and goes somewhere else.
Yeah.
The fire place in the second one.
Yeah, the lava world from Hellfire Peak.
Hellfire Peak, that's it. Yeah.
Which would also be cool to land in. Can you imagine, like, the Hellfire Peak, like, somehow the level is split down the center, whereas, like, on the left is all red and fire, and the right is all
ice.
Yeah.
That would be so cool.
And then you see, like, in the background on both sides, were they Chili Willy and Chili Billy?
The dragons?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's their names, or something like that.
Yeah, but it was like the way they were spelled. It was like chili. The fire dragon's chili was spelled like the chili you eat, like Chili, and the ice one was chili like cold, like Chilly. I was like, that is genius.
Dude, there's so many cool little like nods and just smart, clever things that as a kid I just thought was the coolest thing ever in Banjo Kazooie.
Yeah, like the random Cuban girl who was holding 2 watermelons at the.
Yeah,
I was like, aha, I got that. But like, even just having characters, I wonder if we'll get assist trophies, but like just having cameos in the stages would be cool too. Like, I'd love to see Gruntilda flying around on her broomstick, or
if they do like a Banjo Kazooie stage, I would want a very active background with Bottles and Gruntilda and Mumbo and just as many characters as they can incorporate.
Yeah,
from that series.
I don't know what they'd get the rights to, but I mean the Midgar or whatever, however it's called.
Midgar, I believe.
Midgar has the summons, so it's like, do they have to pay for each summon, or like?
Yeah,
I don't know how.
I guess it's not all how open they'd be about Banjo Kazooie, but again, I feel like Microsoft's in such a bind where like anything that they really do with Banjo, besides re-releasing games or just if they do anything new with Banjo, it's basically going to be met with backlash unless they just give it to Nintendo and drop it in some way.
So
I think making a deal with Nintendo and just giving them as much access to Banjo Kazooie as they need is just the smartest move.
Did they ever make that Conker game where Conker's like the younger kid and he walks around your furniture and stuff?
There's a Conker game for Game Boy that's like not.
No, but like there was like a newer one with the Kinect or something that they were trying to make it so Conker would walk around on your furniture and stuff. I'm like, did they ever follow through with that?
Yeah, I feel like there was some game where you could like build worlds too, and they like showed it at E3.
That one, yeah.
But then it like
picking up where it left off.
Like wasn't supported long or something. I think it came out and then just wasn't supported very long.
Yeah, I remember seeing that actually. I was watching somebody play it, and it was very short. But I was like, oh, it like picks up where it left off, and I'm like, this is actually good as a sequel. Like, this is the beginning of this acts is like the beginning of a good sequel. There were some complaints people had, like a couple of issues, where I don't know if there were glitches or like some things not working, but I mean, that could have been easily patched. So I was like, wow, this is the beginning of a great, sequel, and it just stopped there.
Huh. Very strange. But anyway, I still stand by. I think the best thing they can do is just hand over the rare IPs to Nintendo as much as
Even
they
if
can.
they licensed it, which I don't know how they would work it, but like if one of the studios at Nintendo, like not retro, is it Retro Studios or whoever?
Yeah, that's one.
Yeah, like if some studio just worked on a Banjo 3 and like,
yeah,
because people
or
say,
just have Microsoft, like I don't know, the Rare team I think makes what, the Sea of Thieves or whatever. If they just have the Rare team make a Banjo Kazooie game and put it on Switch, have it be cross, it's on Xbox One and Switch, something like that. It just feels like stuff like that is the way to do the Rare stuff.
They have
it won't upset the fans.
They have the IPs and the opportunity to turn around.
Yeah.
I mean, if they made a Banjo 3E, I doubt they would put it on the Switch unless they teamed up with Nintendo. But I don't know what they would do because I don't have an Xbox One, and as much as I would love a Banjo 3E, I wouldn't want to get an Xbox One for one game.
I see. The first time I bought a 360, one of my major reasons for buying it was to play Nuts and Bolts. Or like I knew Nuts and Bolts was going to happen. I knew a Banjo Kazooie game was going to happen, and in my mind I was like, "Oh well, I'll love that." That was like one of the deciding factors of getting a 360. And I don't regret my 360 purchase because I played a lot of other games on it.
Me neither.
Nuts and Bolts was very disappointing.
Yeah, I went for I got a 360. A lot of the games from that era I got on the 360, and eventually I got a PS3 because there were exclusives on the PS3 that I really wanted to play. Nice. And then I just never got like another Xbox system after that because I just felt like the exclusives for Sony were better, or at least for me better.
That's
like
how
I was more interested in the exclusives on the Sony platforms as opposed to the Microsoft ones. So not necessarily that they were better, but for me they were better.
Yeah, that's where I'm at too. I have a PS4, I have a Switch. I like the exclusives on those consoles, and I have an Xbox One, but it's broken, and I just have had no reason to get another one or fix it or anything, because no games have come out exclusively for Xbox One that I wanted to play, so I just get them for PS4 or Switch, whatever it is. So,
well, anyway, we've been talking for 2.5 hours. I didn't realize that much time went by. And
no, it's all good, man.
I could keep talking to you, but I really got to go study.
All right.
So this has been the 2.5 power hour with PapaGenos and a little bit of Ryan. Yeah. So was there anything else you wanted to say before we go?
I think I'm pretty good. I mean, I'll try to be on more often, try to do this again soon, and if there's anything I think up that I wanted to say, I'll say it then.
yeah, it's always fun having you on, and it's always disappointing when you can't. It's like whenever you're like, I can't make it, I'm like, dang.
I know. I said this, I think, the first time when you asked me, you were like, oh, you want to make this like a regular thing? And I was like, I was trying to warn you. I was like, I'm not opposed to it, but I just know myself. I know my own schedule. I know how I do things. And I'm very just in the moment, like, I'm often busy with stuff. Yeah. But yeah, so.
Well, popping on from time to time is better than not popping on at all, I guess.
Exactly.
Because at least I can be like, so what have you been up to for the past year?
Yeah, next year when we have our reunion episode.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you could join us next week.
Yeah, I'll definitely try to.
We really like to do a top whatever games. I have to double check what came out and double check with you, Ryan and Alpha, what game, like what number you guys want to put it at. You want to do like top 5? If there's 4 of us, it might be better to do top 5 because if we each talk about our own personal list.
Yeah, it's going to take a while if we do 10, and I feel like 5 is better too, because I feel like if I try to do a top 10 from this year, it's probably going to be the 10 games I played this year. Maybe there's like 1 or 2 other ones. Whereas
I don't even know what came out this year.
The games I didn't like that much.
I don't even know what came out this year. And we have to figure out like a ruling on it too, like, because there are games that came out at the end of last year that I still play. Like
when did Mario Odyssey? I think was like last September, October. But I'm feeling like it's like a this year game, But it
same
wasn't.
with Monster Hunter World. Like it's just still getting support, so that's a game I'm playing this year that I don't know where I would rank it, but if it would fit in my top 5, would feel almost obligated to put it in. So I feel like it might be best to say the top 5 games that we played this year, as opposed to the top 5 games that came out this year. I think that's more fair, because we don't always play games when they come out, or we continue playing a game.
We can try to make it like somewhat modern games.
Yeah,
I feel like
chances are they are modern.
Yeah, because I feel like if I said like, oh yeah, I'd never played Earthbound, I played it this year. You know, I don't really. I'd rather do newer. Try to do top 5 games of 2018, but maybe I'll bleed into like 17, 16 if I just didn't play those games in time or something.
I'm almost like open to that, but at the same time, I feel like we should keep it within a year or two. Like the top 5 games that we played this year, that have come out in the past, maybe year
2 or 3 years, or something. Yeah, top 5 modern games or something.
Yeah, I guess we put like a year limit on it.
Yeah.
If we all have somewhat modern games on our tops anyway, then we don't really have to worry too much about a limit. It's not like it's a restriction. Like it's like, oh, I really love this game. It's like, sorry, dude, you can't pick that game.
You can't talk about it.
It came out. It's like that came out in December 20. Whatever, like that's a month before our limit. You know, it's like nah. If there was a game you spent a lot of time on that you really felt like you want to put in your top 5, then I'm sure it's nobody's gonna care.
Jump on you about it.
I mean, the fans might. I don't know who would listen and be like, "Oh, what a waste of an answer." He said Earthbound.
YouTube comments are like, I'm dropping these guys. This is awful. They don't stick to their own rules.
But yeah, so hopefully our really long time talking this week makes up for missing 2 episodes, Thanksgiving and the week after. So then Alpha and I got together last week, and WreckitRyan joined us a little bit into the episode, and so yeah, this kind of, I guess, makes up for that. So.
Cool.
I hope everybody strapped in and listened to it. There probably multiple sittings, or if anybody even listened to it at all. So, and as always, you guys can follow my comic Spirit Legends on tapis.io, and I will give you a shout out. I checked, nobody else followed it, so it's still sitting at 25 follows. So come on, people, come on, help me.
Check it out.
Yeah. So, PapaGenos, where can everybody find you?
My YouTube channel's like my main place, so that's just PapaGenos, the YouTube channel PapaGenos. Mm-hmm. But then I'm also over on Twitter at GenosPapa, and then I have a Discord, and all that stuff is linked to my YouTube channel. It's in the About section of my YouTube channel and in the description to nearly all of my more recent videos. So yeah, if you want to hit me up on Discord or Twitter or whatever, just find a link over there. Just go to the YouTube channel and branch your way out from there.
All right. And for me, I go by a few different names in different places, but if you're listening to this, you're probably on my YouTube channel, so you could just subscribe to that, baby. I think my Instagram is like DrewMaru_comics. I'll have everything in the description anyway. And if there's anything you want me to put in aside from what you've already told me in the past, then you can just let me know. But I'm just going to put in the description for you what you gave me last time. So if everything's the same, then that's what it's going to be.
It should all be the same. Nothing's changed. So
okay. I don't remember if I put in your Discord because I didn't think we knew how to.
It's in the descriptions of, like I said, all my newer videos. So
okay.
If you want to just copy and paste.
All right, I'll go take a look at them.
Feel free.
And I'm also going to try to remember to include the Kingdom Hearts video links in the description as well.
Cool.
And were you playing Smash this whole time?
No, I had it in the background. My brother was playing a little bit.
Oh, because I heard the controller.
I
was like, I don't care if you're playing Smash or not. I was just like, oh, that's neat. Because at one point, I asked a question. I asked some kind of question, and you were like, "It's like, oh, I don't." The way you answered it made me sound like you were about to check. Because I think you were like, I can't check right now, or something. You said something.
You were asking about Geno Spirit having the symbol or something like that. But
maybe.
Yeah, I haven't played World of Light yet, so I wouldn't have even been able to check that. That's why I wasn't sure.
Your response made me sound like, Your response made it sound like, oh, he's playing the game right now. He's like in a battle. So
no,
it's
on the TV, but it was on the TV, but that wasn't me.
Yeah, I'm just sitting uncomfortably on this rug in the closet, and it's getting hot in here.
Well, I'll let you not be uncomfortable in the closet.
All right. Well, it was good talking to you. Hopefully you'll join us next week. I'm going to see if we could aim for Tuesday as always. I'll see if Alpha and Ryan are down, and we can figure out in advance a schedule and decide on maybe the 5 games and whatever, however modern it is, but without strict restrictions.
Yeah.
So I only played 4 modern games, and I played Earthbound this year. Like, I can't talk about it.
I'm allowed. Kick off the show.
It's like you're done. You're not even a guest status anymore. You're janitorial status on the show. Whatever that means. You filter out the spam comments.
It'd be tough, man. We're all in different states. They'd have to go around, clean up our rooms.
Well, I meant filtering out the comments and shit. What I said shit. I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. But anyway, it's good talking to you.
Yeah, nice talking to you too, man.
And everybody, as always, thanks for watching. I stole your thing. Don't you
Goodbye.
usually say? No, you usually say have a good one. Darn it. I wanted to
I say have a good one.
Darn it.
I don't usually say that. I have a pre-recorded one that I did once that I was like, that sounds good, and I stick it at the end of all of them.
Yeah, darn it. As always. Okay, well, now's your chance to say it, PapaGenos. Go ahead and say it.
I never say it. I don't even know what it is.
But now's your chance.
Like,
as always, thanks for, I don't know, whatever.
Yeah, it's like, I can hear it in my head, but I can't. It really helps out the channel, and as always, have a good one or something like that.
This is the PapaGenos show.
Yeah.
All right, guys, take care.
Later.
Epic Sonic and Death Adder from Guns N' Roses.
Yeah, I used to love Golden Axe when I was a kid. That was one of my favorite Sega games, actually. So I know that one.
This is a brutal version of Guns N' Roses. Death Adder from Guns N' Roses. That's pretty metal. But anyway,